So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. And if it's Sunday, it must be the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in our community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are good people, but there's always room for improvement. Also, like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton, who, again, I forgot to remind, for making the show go further on Facebook. Like to say a big giant hello and thank you to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because this is probably one of the only shows where we try, I'm going to emphasize try, to read each and every comment, because, we are growing here. And so, fortunately, and kind of unfortunately, we're not able to get to all of the comments. Last week, you guys totally defeated me. Usually I can read all the comments, but this time I wasn't able to do that. And so today we're going to be talking about MoNique and Lee Daniels reconciling. Of course, you guys have heard all of that play out over the last really kind of like 13 years. This has kind of been going on. So anyway, the question is, what did we learn? What did we learn specifically from MoNique? And so before we get into it, Donovan, what say you?
All right, you guys, it is Sunday. It is, what is it, April 3rd? God, the year is going by so fast. I'm just going to say this. Happy Sunday to you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We know you guys have a lot of options out there, and we're just glad that you guys tuned in with us. Do us a favor, hit that like, share, subscribe, and you can even become a member button, but hit the like button, because that helps the algorithm, and it keeps drawing more and more people toward the page, so we can get this message out. Going to be an interesting conversation, because I think this apology, if you saw it, was long overdue by Lee Daniels and what he did to MoNique. Matter of fact, Demetra K was one of the very first people to report on it. And you talk about, this is over 13 years ago, I guess, when this actually initially happened and stuff, and MoNique was talking about the thing, but Demetra actually reported about that. Her being blackballed, I mean, from the very beginning. So I think this is a nice bookend to close the saga of Lee Daniels and MoNique. And Demetra, I'm kind of glad that you started it and you have a chance to finish your story. So let's get into it.
All right, so I was just saying hello to everybody, personally typing it in and everything like that. One who cares, and Tracy, how you doing? So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, recently Lee Daniels and MoNique reconciled at a show that she was doing in Staten Island. I guess it was an April Fool's type of show, because it was on April Fool's Day. And so he joined her on stage. But first, I should tell y'all that, as Donovan said, over the last 13 years, there was a lot of bad blood between them, because a couple years back, MoNique, as she was doing a stand-up, accused Oprah, Tyler, and Lee Daniels of blackballing her, or in her words, she said whiteballing her, due to her not wanting to basically work for free to promote Precious. As you guys know, Lee Daniels was the director of Precious. I guess Tyler Perry put some money into it as well. MoNique was only paid $50,000 to do the movie, and they didn't think that it would be a wild success as it was. And so then Tyler, Lee, and Oprah were asking her to tour the world, basically go international and promote the movie. And she's like, yeah, I can do it, but y'all need to pay me more money. You got to pay my team and all of that. I pretty much did it for free, $50,000, So of course they were mad at her, because she would not basically promote the movie for free. So they went on, as the MoNique and her husband Sydney said, blackballing her, whiteballing her, to where she was not able to work. Then of course, with Netflix, MoNique called them to the carpet, because they only wanted to pay her $500,000 for the special, when she was like, I'm the most decorated comedian, ever, right? And so a lot of people said, oh, she's just complaining all the time. She's talking about Tyler and Oprah and Lee, and now she's mad at Netflix because she did not take the money from Netflix. And so here we are, full circle, where they have reconciled. Now I want to show you guys the video, so check it out. Oops, hold up.
I love you, you bitch. I love you. Bitch, I love you more. Is this an April Fool's? Please tell me you know what motherfucking April Fool's. This is so goddamn green. This is so motherfucking ring shaking as I looked. You and I, along with some other amazing people, make magic. And I don't ever want us to lose that magic together. Now, let me tell you, sometimes in life, you get caught up, you know, when you a nigga and you come from nothing, you get blinded by some shit. And it took me a long time to realize. I am so sorry for hurting you in any way that I could. No, and she was my best friend. My best friend. Y'all think that Precious was just that was God working through both of us. And we gonna fucking do it again. I love you. I love you.
So as y'all saw there, Lee Daniels joined her on stage, and to me, it was very heartwarming, and kind of tugged at my heartstrings, if you will, just to see MoNique so moved by that. Doesn't seem like, I don't know if she knew he was going to join her on stage, but just the emotions she was going through, I think for her was validation that what she did, her and her husband, because I know a lot of times people like to separate her and her husband. What they did in standing 10 toes down on their conviction of, I am right, I will not bend, I didn't do anything wrong. And as she said, that I am standing up for the ancestors who came before her that had to, endure being blackballed and so much other, things that they couldn't speak of. And she says, I was also doing it for those who are going to come after me so that they don't have to, endure it, right? And she basically is like, I'm not going to sell out. I'm not going to sell out for money, even though my family needs money, and then she also, I don't know what happened to the lawsuit, but she is suing Netflix. And the judge ruled that her lawsuit can go on. Now, I should also say that Lee Daniels is producing a movie, or I guess a series on Netflix called Demon House, where now MoNique will star in the series along with Glenn Close and Andra Day, to name a few people. So I don't know how they're going to work that out, but Lee Daniels has commissioned her to work. Also, I don't know if you guys have heard that 50 Cent said that he is going to create a role for her in his series. 50 Cent has like 5 or so mega giant, major series. And he said he's going to create a role for her because she should not be canceled. She's a big contribution to the Black community and to the world of acting. And so he is going to create something for her. And he told Tyler Lee and who was the other one? Oprah, that they should apologize to her, right? And so I'm happy for MoNique, because this is what happens when you stand on your convictions and you don't sell out and you say, you know what, regardless of what everybody's telling me to do. I mean, because a lot of people, went hard in the paint on MoNique, calling her stupid and why don't she shut up, demonizing her husband.
Just take the money while you can take the money, when she knew what her worth was. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. Allowing, she's allowing her husband to ruin her career, and she should just, fire him and all of that. And to her point, she was like, but y'all wasn't saying nothing when the white boys who was managing me was getting me these little bitty roles and these little bitty checks. And they kept saying, oh, we'll get them next time. We'll get them next time. Nobody had anything to say. But when her husband started to manage her and say, nah, we gonna get what we are worth, then people, especially, I won't say especially, but a lot of Black women, which kind of just blew me away. A lot of Black women had a lot to say about her husband standing up for her and saying, nah, I'm not going to let my wife just go out there and then take anything or have people do anything to her. And so what did we learn from that, right? Because we see so many people take a check, to sell out or sell their people out or whatever the case is. But she's like, and I listen to MoNique and I follow MoNique. And just to hear her speak, and she said it's cost her millions of dollars from being blackballed. This has cost her millions of dollars. And at one point, Tyler Perry told her, well, why you should just apologize, because Tyler was supposed to apologize to her, but he told her, you need to apologize to us and come to my house and don't bring your husband. So here Lee Daniels is, for whatever reason, he said he was sorry. You know, he was an N-word, and, you know, people do stuff they ain't supposed to be doing. I don't know what his real motive is, but I'm glad that MoNique got validation for the hard work that she put in for, you know, not selling out. And Pioneer, how you doing? I saw you came on. I just want to address your comment really quick where you said, where'd it go? You says, I'm sorry, but a contract is a contract, and an agreement is agreement. Don't get mad at people if you agree to do a project for less money than you think you deserve. Well, see, that's why, and I love you, Pioneer. That's why we should really understand what happened. Her contract did not say that she needed to travel internationally. Her contract was just to promote the movie here, and they only paid her $50,000. And then, like I said, once the movie took off, they wanted her to go do more. They wanted her to, you know, travel. And she's like, at the time, her twins were babies. So she needed nannies. She needed to take her team and all of that. In addition, she was doing her own talk show. Remember, she had the MoNique talk show, whatever it is. So she's like, I can't just leave what I'm doing to promote this movie. But if you want, I'll try to work it out. But you need to write me a check. They didn't want to do that. So it was not originally in her contract. So anyway, before I read the rest of these comments, Donovan, what say you?
Hey, I know you're exactly right and how that went down. I don't want to get too far behind in the comments, but again, you know, a lot of people don't really know what the thing is. It's like if you got into a contract and all they're going to do is pay you $50,000 and that's it, you act in the movie and that's it. What happened was Oprah and them asked her to promote the movie overseas, just like you said, and what's wrong with her asking them, okay, well, you want me to do it, then you got to pay me more money. That's business. And that's a business style. Like you said, she had a talk show. A lot of stuff was going on. And again, she, like Muhammad Ali, and I'm not like referring to her like Muhammad Ali, but these people stood on principle and lost lots of money and credibility within the industry. But because she made that stance, do you know how many actresses, especially Black actresses now, and actors are going to get the money that they deserve and get full contracts that specifically say certain things? The problem with us as Black people is we see another Black person and we always want them to give us the hookup. We got to stop doing that, because what we're doing is we're screwing each other over. You know, just cut the damn check. If that was a white person, you would have cut them a check. No questions asked. Go and, you know, do what you got to do. So big ups to MoNique. And again, big ups to her husband, because all these Black women were dragging this Black man, because, you know, as we know, Black men ain't shit, all up and down the street. And MoNique stood behind her husband, and she knew he was right, and she took his leadership, and look where it's gotten her. Yeah, they took some L's, but big ups to them for standing 10 toes down together. Together is the key.
Absolutely. And in all fairness, there were a lot of brothers who were dragging her as well. But I just thought it was kind of shocking that a lot of sisters was just basically telling her, shut up. I'm tired of her already, all that. So anyway, let's get to y'all comments, because it's really about y'all today. So Rainey, how you doing? It says peace and blessings to two of you. So I put that up there. He says the best on social media. Dallas loves you and we love you too. And MoNique, you said, I think Lee Daniels done some extreme harm to this woman. It's nice to know he apologized. He waited 10 years. My question is, where does the financial compensation, and when does it, I think, when is Oprah and Tyler, I think you meant, are next? Well, hopefully, I mean, I know they're all friends, maybe, but see, I don't know. I just don't think Oprah will do it, because Oprah is that type of person that people think she is the deity, right? She could never be wrong. And so, you know, I say this, some people are going to get mad. I believe sometimes nobody hates a Black woman like a Black woman. You know, and Oprah knows she did MoNique wrong, not only just with the Precious movie, but bringing her family on and interviewing them when she asked them not to, because she said, I don't want all of my family business out. But Oprah was like, screw you, I'm going to bring them on anyway. And so that they fell out on that as well. So anyway, and Jeremy, you say the show does the best when it comes reading and engaging us. And MoNique, along with most other black people are white balled, and it's usually white people slandering black people's names and reputation. Yeah. And she also said, I think it was Lionsgate that did a lot of the black balling as well. So a white balling, if you will. Lionsgate is the major motion picture studio.
And
whatever.
Tyler Perry has a distribution deal with Lionsgate. So that probably was a big part of why she got blackballed.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Miss Robin. How are you? And the partner says, oh, okay, quick question. I don't want to run to Wikipedia right now. Is Lee Daniels homosexual? He's married to a man, yes. So I guess that qualifies as yes. Molly, you said next month is Cinco de Mayo. You got to come to Southwest Detroit. You never did give me an answer. It's not that bad of an area. Very diverse. I think you would have fun, great food, and drinks. Probably not going to come to Detroit for Cinco de Mayo, Moni. Just keeping it real. But let us know how it is, if you enjoyed it and all of that. Pioneer also say, I found the entire scene disgusting. Okay, well, do tell. And I says, I cried a little. Yeah, it almost got me too. Just really watching MoNique, like, wow, it's kind of coming full circle. And one who cares, if I didn't already, how you doing, says, was he real? Yeah, that kind of made me wonder too, because as we know, 50 Cent is putting her on. And so 50 Cent is major in Hollywood, not just black Hollywood, but major in Hollywood. They said all of his shows are pretty much up there as the most watched shows in black households. And so 50 Cent is really doing it big.
Wait, wasn't he supposed to put Olivia on? What happened to Olivia in G Unit? Another story.
And Kiana, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says he didn't feel that breeze right. He started kind of talking about his pants was kind of, you seeing his booty crack. And see,
what booty?
And Donovan said her husband was vilified, and big ups for MoNique. She was right, yes, indeed. And MoNique says, of course, the pioneer. Okay, so he's preaching the pioneer. And then Donovan said, people love a comeback. And the pioneer says, Lee Daniels may be talented director, but that scene was dysfunctional, in my opinion. Calling each other bitches on stage like that. Yeah, well, that's how they talk to each other. It's not how we would talk to each other, but that's how they talk to each other. And Dr. Matthews, how you doing? You say, hey, y'all. And Mona says, Donovan, I heard that she's, and then your comment cut off. And yes, Candace, 50 Cent did help her. He was like, nah, screw y'all. I'm putting her back on. That's what he said. And the agitator says, I am so happy for Mo. She believed in herself and didn't fall for the bull they were handing her. Yeah, they wanted her to just tap out.
Yeah, and a real quick question, Demetra, since you've been covering this story for a long time. What is Steve Harvey's take on this? Have you heard anything in regards to Steve Harvey?
Haven't heard anything, but Steve Harvey was one of the original people to say, girl, you better just go on and apologize and do what they telling you to do. Sometimes you got to basically bend over and take it. And she's like, nah, partner, I'm not bending over and taking that because I didn't do anything wrong. They did. And she says, I got to, stand on it, on my foundation for the people who came before me and the people who will come after me. So she was absolutely right. And let's see here. And Dr. Matthews says, much respect to 50 Cent in my book right now. Yeah, absolutely. 50, you can be mad at him for a lot of stuff, but he was like, I'm putting it back on. And Pioneer says, I'm glad I was educated by the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He brought civilization to the savage nation. It's to the point that our people don't even know filth when they see it. Yes, indeed. And so, yeah, I mean, their language was, but MoNique she's a comic, right? And she's pretty salty in her delivery and stuff like that. I mean, I really didn't really take a whole lot of issue with that because it wasn't the point of the video that I was trying to make. But I get what you're saying. MoNique says, I heard this movie deal had already been did with MoNique and Mr. Daniels. I hope that she is paid well because that man literally stopped her from being in a lot of movies for many years. And so, yeah, this particular series is on Netflix. It sounds like he is being paid about $65 million for the whole production. Glenn Close, as I said, who's major. And Andrew Day, who did the Billie Holiday movie and was nominated for Oscar. So among other people, they are in this movie. Now, originally, Octavia Spencer was supposed to do it, but she had a prior engagement. She couldn't do it. So that's why they tapped MoNique for it. Okay. And if I didn't already, hello, Jerome, how you doing? So hopefully I've answered that by now that Lee Daniels and MoNique have reconciled. And so it's the beginning of MoNique actually being vindicated. And Dr. Matthews says 50 Cent did, he helped her. Yes, indeed. And hello, Sunlight, how you doing? Facts, not feelings. If I didn't already, hello. He says Daniel, Perry, Winfrey are gatekeepers. Oh, for sure, because they completely kept her out of the industry. And she says, I've lost millions of dollars due to, people saying I was difficult and hard to work with and, just all of that, right? And yes, indeed, Dr. Matthews says much respect to 50 Cent. And the partner says, okay, they wanted her to do more. Did she agree by contract to do more? No, she didn't. Said if it wasn't in her contract, she didn't have to do it. What was the controversy? Controversy is that she wouldn't bow down to Big Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. She stood her ground, was like, don't ask me to work for free because I couldn't ask you guys to work for free. And they got mad because she wouldn't do it, right? And so the rest was history. She's got plenty of receipts to prove what she's saying. I mean, she even got Tyler Perry on, recorded conversation saying, yeah, they were wrong, that, he would talk to Oprah and he would apologize to her publicly, which he never did. So she's got plenty of receipts to back up what she's saying.
Yeah. And even in the negotiations to get her to do production, Oprah even said, you can use my plane, but that wasn't the issue for MoNique. She had kids and she had another show she had to do. And she said, look, it's a simple situation. Just write me a check to make it worth my while and my expenses, and I'll do it. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted the hookup.
Yep. They wanted to pimp her, for a lack of better words. It's the best way I could put it. All right. In fact, Not Feeling says, always do contracts in percentages, not set amount. Right. And, as she said too, her and Lee Daniels was cool. She really did the movie for a favor for him because, she said even Lee Daniels will call her and say, Oprah, oh, she won't help me and she don't believe in the film. And then once the film became successful, then everybody started to jump on board. And then he sold his friend MoNique out for the friendship of, well, I guess they were kind of already friends because they did The Butler. No. Which came first? Was it The Butler or Precious? One of them. At some point in time, Oprah wasn't feeling
actually, they were in production close to the same time.
So the same time. So he was saying that Oprah wasn't really feeling him and she's not really trying to help him. And so then he kind of sold MoNique out, right? Once the film got hot. All right. And Dr. Matthews says 50 Cent actually made this apology to happen for her. Yeah. And he did say that. He says it's because of me that, MoNique is being vindicated, if you will. And Rain.
Well, bring Olivia back, damn it.
Rain Love, how you doing? Says Shalom. And Mr. Research TV, how you doing? And so he's talking to the pioneer. And MoNique says, I mean, it's nice that somebody can apologize when they are wrong, and we must forgive because that's what God commands. And and I am with that. What this man did, Oprah and Tyler, hell awaits, pay her. Well, if MoNique has forgiven them and they've moved on, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Oprah and Tyler will do it. We'll have to wait and see, right? Pioneer says, I agree with you that if you want me to do more promoting of the shows overseas, then you need to pay me more money. What's wrong with sitting down and writing up a contract for it? They didn't want to do that. The agitator says, why would they ask Mo to do that anyway? That's lowballing her, and she is a great, great actress. Yeah, y'all know how we do. I'll give me the hookup. Like, Oprah, you sitting on B's, right? You sitting on Billy's. You got it. But I want the hookup, man. Do me a favor. They ain't no better. And Aisha says full
the sisterhood.
Well, I mean, Tyler was in on that too. And Aisha says full price only. And Brother Sammy, how you doing? He says beautiful. Brought a tear to my eye. Love it, Black love. Yeah, I mean, it was very touching, just to see her like, wow, And Rainey says Miss K is already on it. Yes, indeed. And Rain said exactly in sunlight. I'll say talking to Pioneer. And T.O., how you doing? He says, I love it. Black unity, Black first. Yes, indeed. MoNique says, the way I hear it once again is that she's already did a movie with Lee Daniels. So this is just something being spoken on stage because they've already gotten together, which is cool, pay her money. Okay. And and Bogani, how you doing? He says, greetings, Demetra and Donovan. He says, I am sending a whole bunch of emojis, chat fam. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And D. Wayne, I hope I said that right. He says Black First Brigade. Yes, indeed. And Rain, it says true that. Demetra Pioneer says there's a lot of talk between right and wrong, and they did her wrong, perhaps, but business is business, and our people need to learn legality and business and how to properly conduct or properly protect themselves, rather. Yeah, again, she did it as a favor, and the white balling and black balling actually came from people who had no business doing that to her. Dr. Matthews says 50 helped her out on this shit. Yes, he did. The agitator says, I don't think Oprah is not going to do anything to help Mo, and it's really wrong of her, and that's why Oprah deals be going bad too. Yeah, karma does not forget. You get what you give, right? So Oprah, she has it coming, especially if she did that to her, right? Back in our feeling says MoNique did the right thing. She submitted to her man. Yeah. A lot of people had a problem with that. It's because of him. Like, so what's he supposed to do? Just watch his woman get fed to the wolves and say, well, baby, you're on your own. I mean, I just thought that was just really just stupid, right?
Well, what I like the fact is she backed up her husband 100%.
Oh yeah, she was like,
100%.
Yeah, we rocking together. And Pioneer says, laugh out loud, much love to Sister MoNique, but if you come to Detroit, you might want to stay away from Southwest Detroit. Laugh out loud. That's Latino gang territory. Thanks for the warning, brother.
Well, I'm from Southern California, so this is all Latino gang territory.
And Rayshawn, how you doing? Says, hi, all black first. Yes, indeed. And Dr. Matthew says, 50 Cent helped her. The situation, I respect him for this one. Yes, indeed. And Mona says, before I would have started any more of the his movies, he would have to not only publicly apologize, not while I'm acting or doing my comedy shows, but make a news-wide apology and pay me $100 or $10 million. Well, I mean,
but think about that, Moni. If he has to do all that, do you think he really would do it?
And I mean, yeah,
I don't think that would help the situation in the healing process. It's just, whatever deal they got going on behind the scenes, you're going to do it. And a good example for me, I'm involved in litigation right now. If they want to settle it before we go to court, hey, I'm willing to do that. See, you gotta, play chess, not checkers.
Yeah, I mean, he did it in front of everybody. I mean, here we are talking about it, so it went viral, right? So I think that was just as good. I mean, she's happy with it apparently. So, hey, the agitator says hashtag Black First. Yes, indeed. And Kiki, how you doing? It says, hey, Queen Demetra. Hey, Sir Donovan. Hopped back on here just to check out the show, taking a break away from all this Facebook craziness for a while. But I was not going to miss y'all. Laugh out loud. Happy Sunday. Well, we love and appreciate you for being here. Yeah, sometimes you got to log off to gain some sanity, right? And Moni, you say the Pioneer is nothing like that. And people... so you're talking to the Pioneer, he's basically saying he's not telling the truth. And Ricky Raven, how you doing? He says Steve Harvey is bug broken. Yes, indeed. He pretty much admitted it when he was talking to her, being MoNique. And Herman, how you doing? And let's see here. Now, you guys know I don't read the replies that you guys are speaking to each other just to save time. And Ricky say MoNique can play Precious 20 years later. You crazy. That movie was very bizarre. I didn't really like it at all. It was just kind of, I only watched it once. That's all I could really watch it. And the Pioneer says, Queen, it wasn't the language of MoNique that I take objection to. It was Lee Daniels sagging and showing his draws and calling her bitch in just that I found dysfunctional. Well, because she called him one first. So that's what happened. I mean, I don't think he was purposely sagging his pants. I think maybe the pants were too big and they were falling down. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't speak for him. And the agitator says, oh, yeah, Steve Harvey was wrong for telling MoNique to go against her believing in herself and her abilities as the great actress she is. Yes, indeed. And Rainey says, I wonder when the Breakfast Club will call her for an apology interview. Yep. Charlemagne showed his behind with her as well. And she went on there and called him Leonard or whatever his name is. Yeah, he was really mad with MoNique because she was sticking up for herself. So at least they'll have to talk about it, right? I'm sure they'll cover it. And Brother Jonell, how you doing? He says, peace, Queen, Brother Donovan and fam. And Sheila, how you doing? Say facts. And MoNique says, Donovan, you ain't acknowledging me. Your knowledge and I think you mean acknowledging everybody else. That's wrong. I always got your back. Now, what's up, man?
No, Moni. Hey, Moni, my sweetheart, my precious, my queen. I always acknowledge you when you come on board. This show wouldn't be a show without one of our main co-hosts, and that's Moni Hunt.
Blow her a kiss or something down. D. Wayne, he says, none of those people care about foundational Black Americans. Well, I would say MoNique is about that life. You ever listen to MoNique? She is about that life. She calls it like a T.I. is. She calls out Biden and everybody else. And Sheila says, as we say, threw her under the bus. Yep, and kept it trucking. But, when you are righteous, as they say, the righteous shall prevail. You should not be forsaken. And so when you are standing on your convictions and you're right, you like vindication has to come your way some way, somehow, right? Those of y'all who follow the Bible, think of Job. And let's see here. In Thoughts of the Week podcast, how you doing? You say, just entering the live, what's good? So how did Lee and MoNique squash the beef? Did 50 threaten to put G-Unit on Lee? Maybe, because we've seen where Damon Dash ran up on him at a Diana Ross concert and was like, run me my money. And he's like, Demon. Okay, Demon. Demon. Yes, okay, Demon. And Kiki says, yes, I'm excited to see MoNique make a comeback. It's time for it. This is a positive thing. Love to see Black folks put differences aside and come to a great place. I can't wait to see her back on screen. Me too, because I really love MoNique. I really, really do. And Moni says Oprah doesn't have any business asking anybody to promote a movie that unless she's funding it and it's her movie and she was out of place for that. She needs to apologize to MoNique like Tyler Perry. Well, Tyler Perry didn't apologize either. He apologized on behind the scenes, but he was supposed to do it publicly, and he has not done that yet. Maybe. And sound like you say Lee Daniels got a lot of favors, apparently, $2 million from Dame Dash and MoNique. For $50,000, can good stand-up people get love like that? Shaking my head. Yeah, absolutely. But he gave Damon his money back. And Brother Donnell says, why now? They're seeing her being successful still without their system and moving independent. So they're bringing her in. Lee Daniels' film have been nothing short of degradation. MoNique better be wise, make amends, but watch those so-called friends. Absolutely. And I'm with you. Like, is there an angle to this? Which it probably is, right? Donovan says 50 Cent needs to pull Olivia back on, put Olivia back on and push her through. So you're talking about the singer. I don't know, Donovan. And the Pioneer says, Queen, I'm sorry, but did you address the Will Smith situation? We did last week. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit. I think everybody has got Will Smith, Chris Rock, and Jada burnout. But y'all want to talk about it? Throw a comment in the comment section. I love to discuss it. And Moni, you say, I'd like to know, Demetria, what do you think about the Oscars removing Will permanently? Is more repercussion to come for his dreadful actions? Not like he thought it would be. Many dislikes.
Did the Academy remove him or did he resign? Because I thought they're still going to wait till the 18th to.
Well, he resigned, but I guess they're supposed to figure out if they're going to take the Oscar and all of that. And Whoopi, who was on, I guess, the board, says we're not taking his Oscar. I don't have any opinions on it. That's Hollywood. We know Hollywood has never really been for us. I don't have an opinion on it. You guys, between Jada and Will, because it's their money, they're worth over $400 million. So I think he's going to be all right. Plus, he's got one of the hottest television shows on TV right now, and that's Bel Air, which is a remix of The Fresh Prince, and it's wildly successful. So I don't think, it's really going to hurt him. Yeah, it sounds like Netflix stalled one of his films, and Bad Boy 4 is supposed to be on hold. I don't know, but, I don't think Will probably really cares. I don't know. And Yashawn, how you doing? You say, then when are you coming home? Laugh out loud. I'm driving my big rig to Houston, and LA isn't all Mexican territory. It's over 50%. So, and so you say, when am I coming back home to LA, Southern California? I don't know yet. I don't know.
Well, look, to answer your question, I ran her out of LA and I'm going to run her off the internet. You guys got some time, sign my petition. Keep Demetria K off the internet.
Good luck with that. And Thunder says the fact that a Black woman stayed with her Black man, she lost money. And even when the world and the sisterhood tried to break them up, they couldn't, because their love was rock steady like an old Chevy built to last. Yes, indeed. And she was like, I'm not going to sell my man out because y'all have a problem with submission, because she's big on submitting to her man and letting him take the lead. And so she was like, more of y'all need to get on board with that. So, and Donovan says, Kiki, we miss you. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and the thing with MoNique, a lot of people were telling her one of the reasons why they kind of so-called blackball or didn't want to meet with her, it was because of her husband. But if that's her manager, who the hell are you going to meet with?
Well, like she said, when the white managers was, giving her bum deals and stuff, nobody had an issue with it. But her Black man, making sure that she's getting some good deals, that they mad at that. So, and Thoughts of the Week podcast says, now the way MoNique stands up and takes care of her man, that's a Black woman that you protect, not Jada. Oh, Lord. Jada didn't enter the chat. We'll get into that after I'm going to get to the rest of these comments here. And yes, indeed, Yanni, I love and appreciate you so much for becoming a member. You guys think about becoming a member of this channel. I would love to have you here, but thank you so much. And Kiki says, who is Olivia? She's a R&B singer that was with, I guess, G Unit. I guess she was under 50 Cent, had a song or two, and that was about it. And MoNique says, no, Demetri, I meant Pioneer since he's in Detroit for Cinco de Mayo, but I would love it if you, celebrate 5th in Texas, and you and Donovan tell me how it is. Happy early birthday. Well, thank you so much. I probably won't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I never really have. I guess I didn't really have a reason to. But thank you for the early birthday wishes. It's not for 10 days at this point. I'll be forgetting. When you get older, you ain't trying to remember that kind of stuff. LaMarcus, how you doing? Says, what up, y'all? And Yashai says, sorry, typos. Look, it says, it said, we low percent in a city that has more people in most states. Our hoods are still strong per capita. Yes, indeed. Yeah, but from what they say, Hispanics are most in population in Los Angeles. Mr. Pirate Brain, how you doing? He says, how are you doing, Demetri and Donovan? We are doing fabulous. And I hope you are doing the same. And Juggy, how you doing? He says, bless up. Yes, indeed. And Yanni says, I'm just here to show y'all love and finally join. And we love and appreciate you for that. Yes, indeed. Brother Jonell, he says, yeah, he paid Dame Dash his money after Damon Dash kept him on blast. Yeah, he ran up on him while he was upside down. Boy, you turned me. Damon was like, yeah, about my money, though.
Didn't he like leave his seat and went down to where he was sitting and was like, look?
Did. Yeah, Damon has some pretty good seats for that Diana Ross concert. And Juggy says, yeah, live on Facebook too. Yep, yeah, I was busting up. And Kubler, how you doing? Said Will Smith out, MoNique back in. Yeah, I guess you could look at that way. And Juggy said fake book. Yes, a lot of people call it fake book. And Sheila says MoNique will have good content from her challenges. Yes, indeed. And Kiki says, yeah, I'll be back probably next month. Laugh out loud. Hopefully this Will, Jada, and Chris crap will be over by then. I just got tired of seeing. I'm hoping the same thing happens with them. Reconciliation, Will and Chris, they have a close and long history. We'll see. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think we've all got burnt out. People are covering it from this angle, that angle, inside out. And did you know this? And it's like, oh my God, all right.
Jada smiled. She didn't smile. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. And Mr. Research, he says, Tyler busy on another media part 55, but avoiding Gone Girl part 2. Do tell. And so MoNique, y'all cool now about Donovan not speaking to you. And Key says, oh, this singer Olivia, okay. Thunder says, but I'm confused. I thought the LGBTQ community supported Black women. Maybe they only support the ones who are not married to straight Black men. And maybe they only support Black women when they attack straight Black men. Yeah, MoNique, I mean, I don't know if she's a friend of the LGBTQ community. I imagine she would be. But yeah, I mean, not a lot of people liked her husband, Sidney, speaking up for her and making sure she didn't, get sold out. Dr. Matthews says no. And you also say, stay in Texas, sis. Yeah, I dream of palm trees every once in a while.
Yes, but speaking of Dr. Matthews, I mean, I'm seeing these great pictures on Facebook with her daughters that are there, and it's like, well, when are you going to put up pictures of yourself?
She is putting up pictures of herself. That's her.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Yes, looking like a teenager. And Sean, how you doing? He says her career got destroyed. Are they giving her back millions she lost? Probably not, but I don't know what happened with her lawsuit with Netflix. Maybe it's still going on, which would be kind of weird if she's now going to be starring in a film by Lee Daniels that is going to be on Netflix. Kind of weird. I don't know. And MoNique says, Demetri, this is a wonderful time for you to embrace your birthday month, and thank you for all that you do. I can't say it enough. Thank you for being compassionate, classy, always lipstick, please. Well, I appreciate that. I'm not one of those. I'm weird. It's not that I don't care about myself, but I'm one of those people. I don't do a birthday month. Hell, I hardly even do a birthday, right? Like, oh, it's my birthday. People are like, what do you want to do? I don't know, So anyway, I'm glad to be alive.
Yeah, you'll find Demetri at a bookstore, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very low key. And Sheila says, I'm tired of Will. Yeah, everybody's just sick of the whole situation. Pioneer says, I heard a lot of people address the Will and Smith, Chris Rock situation, but I don't remember hearing it from the Queen. Laugh out loud. Didn't the incident happen on Sunday night after y'all show Sunday. Yes, we did it on Monday, and Donovan and I had a knockdown, drag out argument discussion about it. So it is on the page. We did it last Monday, but we'll discuss a little bit if y'all want. You know, if not, I'm cool with that too. Mr. Piper says, I will lock my doors and not let the Academy in my house to get my Oscar. I mean, it doesn't really belong to them anyway. They said that the Oscars can recall the actual statue whenever they want, right? So it's not really like technically is theirs forever. It still kind of belongs to the Oscars from what or the Academy from what I understand.
Yeah, because they're all in a club of membership. So all that stuff that's given, it's part of the like club. So
it's a statue at the end of the day, right? And let's see here. And Dr. Matthew says, what's up with Will Smith tail? Well, you know, they've been out of the public eye, except for Chris Rock. I know he did a stand-up. I think it's Boston or something a couple of days ago.
Sold out. And Tony Rock said, I'm not my brother.
The sheriff is, I hope I said that right. If I didn't, please forgive me. How you doing? He says, I think all of this is kind of staged because it's at the same time as the Smiths and Rock's saga. Wiley Daniels choose now to reconcile. I mean, I'm with you. I got an eyebrow raised about it too. Like, what's really going on? Like 13 years of this, you know, feud, and all of a sudden now, I think because people are starting to see that MoNique, her star is starting to rise again. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, however you want to, you know, refer to him. You guys might remember when Adidas gave him a shoe, and he produced, you know, good commercials and stuff. He had MoNique in the commercial when she was at the height of being blackballed. Also gave her producers credit for the commercials. And so that's why I said people can say whatever they want to say about Childish Gambino / Donald Glover. But Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, he puts his money where his mouth is. He didn't have to mess with MoNique, but he says, nah, I got you. I know that they ain't really messing with you right now. But every time people watch this commercial, you're going to get paid, not just because you're a producer, but also because you're acting in it. It was fabulous. So I just want to throw that out there. And Kubler says, Will Smith out, MoNique back in. Democrats will take all the credit. Hashtag see Joe does love the black vote 2024. Yeah.
Speaking of which, real quick, how many of you guys realize that in the House late Friday night, they passed the federal marijuana mandate? See, the Democrats are doing something for black folks. They passed it, but guess what? Joe Biden is on record that if a bill like that came to his desk, he would veto it. It has to still get past the Senate. So here we go, more symbolism. But guess what? There's going to be a lot of Negroes out there. Woo, weed, woo, yeah. Symbolism. The Democrats are in trouble.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm sweating. It's hot. Don't have my air on just yet. So yeah, I mean, the marijuana bill would not necessarily be for us. The thing that they can do for us is open them jails and prisons and let out our people who are doing, you know, a copious amount of time for weed, dime bags, nickel bags of weed, while they got all these dispensaries going on. And now Congress is trying to pass where it is marijuana is legal on a federal level. It means nothing to us until you free our people, period. So, and I says, Hollywood, we don't need them. Black dollars matter. We can find our own projects. Yes, indeed. And the Smiths, they have their own studio. Overbrook Studios. It's black owned, right? They need to start using that. And the sheriff, as you said, glad it's happening. But remember, these people are controlled. What's the agenda? Very good point. And Mr. Researcher says MoNique paid for doing a few scenes to help her gay friend who was black. Then 13 years later, gay guy says, I was blinded by the limelight, end quote. Some of our LGBT cousins, stop weaponizing your word. Very good point. Yeah, she helped him out, and, you know, he put a dagger in her back. So maybe.
Well, you know, and that brings up another good point. Notice that they're LGBTQ when it comes to their issues, and they want us to stand up for them. But when it's time to be black or to fight a black fund, they're not black, they're LGBTQ. So do you guys see a pattern that's happening in the LGBTQ community? Cops don't stop you and say, hey, by the way, are you gay? Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? They just see that you're black. But you got a lot of LGBTQ members that don't even want to identify as black unless it's convenient to do so.
Absolutely. And Facts Not Feeling says, yeah, with MoNique down, up with MoNique, down with Jada. Y'all really do not like Jada. Lord have mercy. And Brother Jonell says, protect your wife, respect Black women, but it's a Black woman duty to give her man something to respect. Amen. Says, can't be for the streets and motherhood and wife. Nowadays, most women think being a wife is being for the streets and being a man of her household. Says, we got to get back to our nature and our roles, which is none less than the other. The heart is not trying to be the brain, but they're powerful and equal in their position without order. These sure. Yeah, it says chaos. So I think you meant the order, it would be chaos. Yeah. So, you said a word right there. I mean, we need to give them some respect. So it goes both ways. Sunlight says, indeed, Dame is a stand-up guy. You just can't punk him and think it's all good. Yeah, and he has his issues with a lot of people, Jay-Z included, right? Mr. Pybrand says, Demetria, I'm selling my house in Austin and moving back to Maryland. Why? Why are you leaving Texas? I know actually a lot of people who moved from California, other places to Texas, I've heard that they're starting to go back to where they came from for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't think.
Yeah, because that Texas is no joke. They got the Klan running around. People got trucks and all kinds of stuff.
I stay in the house, honestly. I go here and there, but but do tell, why are you moving back to Maryland? And let's see here. And he says, we don't need white acceptance, never did, never will. Yeah, that's why I don't get people say, oh, the Oscars are going to do this. Talking about Oscars. So what? Are we really that wrapped up into what the Oscars are going to do? What have they done for Black people, really?
Well, they had a Black producer and he brought all his Black staff and everything, and they produced it. And it was one of the most great ones. And, it was the first. It was the first Black all produced Oscar ceremony.
It said that Will Packer was in on blackballing MoNique as well, because he was telling people that she was difficult to work with too. So, and Letitia, how you doing? You say shalom, everyone. Yes, indeed. And the Pioneer says Precious itself was very dysfunctional movie. It portrayed Afro-Americans in filthy and moral denigrate way. I think you said. That's one of the reasons I don't care too much for Lee Daniels. And that movie was hard to watch. Very, very just like y'all felt like you need to take a shower after watching it.
Well, yeah. Did you see the way Mariah Carey looked in the movie? Jesus Christ.
Candace, Dr. Matthews, says, say it's her, Donovan, and they her daughters. It's her. Okay.
Hey, all right. I'm gonna look at him again, but I don't believe it.
Yes, indeed. She is looking very, very young. And the sheriff, she says, UK and US filmmakers need to group up to make an Afro wood, like Nollywood and whatever the Asian people have as an equivalent. Yeah, Africa, they do have, what do they call their films? I forget what they call it. I forget what it is, but they do have their own films. Huh?
Nollywood.
That's India.
No, Bollywood is India.
Oh, Bollywood. There you go. Nollywood. You're right.
Nollywood.
So they have, I watch them sometimes. They're kind of, funny and, different, but I watch them sometimes. Facts Not Feeling says, Will is not the kind of personality that reconciles. His ego is way too big. Yeah, I've heard that about him. And Marcus, thank you so much. I apologize for not reminding you, the old age, blaming on old age, and just being very busy. But thank you. If you guys are on Facebook and you're watching this somewhere, you want us to read your comment, click on the link, and we would love, love, love to do that. And Thunder says, she stood by her Black man and they're mad as hell. And they know damn well if that was the other way around and the Black man tried to force him to leave her, it would be hell and high water. Absolutely. You're right. I mean, I can't even debate that at all. And Juggy says, hashtag respect. Yes, indeed. And Yashani says, to the good doctor, now we need our strong sister home. Laugh Out Loud is cool. Keep doing great things and much love from South Central Los Angeles, sis. All right. And Dr. Matthew says, I'll slap Tony Rock's stupid tail. The sheriff says, you said it right, my sis. Okay, thank you. Says bless love. Thank you. I try to pronounce people's name right. Sometimes I don't. The Thunder says that they don't build them like that anymore. So you're talking about like MoNique. Yeah. And she says that her husband, Sydney, actually had to train her that way. So a lot of her other relationships didn't last because she was the one that was, I'll just say it in a clean way, the most manly one in the relationship, because she said she equated that I'm making the most money. So you can't tell me what to do. I'm the one that's running this. And he was like, nah, you ain't got to be big, bad, and tough with me. Slow down, mama. Let me show you how it works. And so that's why she says, she calls him daddy. A lot of people have a problem with that. It's up to you what you want to call your man, but she calls him daddy. She said because he was, in a sense, like a father to her. He raised her and taught her things that her real father did not teach her. So that's why she called him that. And Sunlight says, Lee Daniels, like a lot of others, are trying to get back in with Black society. Yep. That's how they do, though. You know, they sell out. And because, you know, it was an Empire and a couple other things that went belly up. And I think him and 50 had some beef as well, because 50 was like, they stole my show concept Power. And I guess Empire was supposed to be similar. I don't know. I didn't watch Empire. And MoNique says, Donovan, because Michigan is cold as hell at night, it still be cold. Detroit is real messed up with that weather. Be like this until May, but I would love to be able to one day come on your show. You will, MoNique. Just, you know, like I said, dwindle everything that you sent me down. You sent me like, it's like over 30 emails. I need you to get that compacted so I can know what I'm going to say. And Pioneer says, what is the federal marijuana mandate? Is that to legalize weed on a federal level? Yes, but it'll still be up to the states if they want to, you know, make it legal. So it's like, it's like, what's the point, right? Fight for Black says, I could care less about weed. Exactly, King Donovan. Symbolism, cut our damn checks. Yes, indeed. The Pioneer says, okay, Queen, you just answered my question. Thank you. You're welcome. And Kiki says, oh, yeah, you're an April baby too, Demetra. I forgot, laugh out loud. I'm spending my birthday day by taking the day off work, reading and resting and watching cartoons and movies. I might sit outside for a while for some sun. Other than that, just will be happy to live to see it. But happy early birthday, Queen. Thank you so much. And happy birthday to you. When is your birthday, by the way? It sounds like your birthday is in April. And Juggy says, United We Stand hashtag. Absolutely. And Kubler says, preach, Demetra. Preach. Let our people go. Yeah, that write those bills. Let our people go. And then, you know, maybe I'll smoke a joint. I'm just kidding. I've never done it. I don't know. Maybe I need to. The agitator says, yes, Donovan is right. Absolutely. And MoNique says, but I hope that outside of maybe giving her maybe $2 million for the Netflix, she should have been assisted for every year that it has been. And it's been 10 years. So she should insist on 10 million now. Well, I don't know how much MoNique is getting paid, but hopefully she's getting paid, you know, quite a bit. And the Pioneer says, you're right, Brother Donovan. There definitely is a pattern of alphabet community coming to the defense of their own. But when it comes to Black issues, they maintain their right to remain silent. Yes, indeed. And Thoughts of the Week podcast. He says, Overbook Studios and Tyler Perry Studios should have been linked up and started their version of Oscars. They can call it the Pookie. Are you crazy? The Pookie Awards.
Well, didn't Steve Harvey have the hoodies or something like that?
Yeah, back in the day. I forget why he stopped it. It was some drama or something was going on. He stopped it. Dr. Matthew says, so when is August getting slapped? Oh, Lord. Y'all done brought August and Selena up into the chat. And Dr. Matthew says, Houston is better in Texas. I mean, you know, I'm used to Houston now. Before, I was kind of like, I miss home being Southern California, the sunshine, the weather, you know, the palm trees and the mountains and all of that. You know, I get adjusted to it. So I like to exercise outside, but with the way the weather set up in Houston, it's not really easy to do. Plus, y'all don't have sidewalks like that. Y'all drive crazy. I ain't trying to be ran over. So I got a gym membership for the first time since 1993.
Right. And you got to remember, you're also used to dry heat. So it's kind of different how it hits you.
Oh, yeah. And the Pioneer says, I know quite a bit of people who left Detroit to move down south actually come back to Detroit and Michigan in general because it wasn't what they expected. I will say that if you're used to a faster moving environment like that of Southern California, coming to a place like Houston or somewhere in the South, yeah, it's an adjustment. It really is, right? My daughter, she's going back. She's like, I'm not staying in Houston. I'm going back to California.
Well, what do I always say? I'm from Louisiana. I'm never going back there. I was born there. I like to visit, but I don't want to live there.
Thunder says, DK, you're down south. You start practicing being a Southern person. Put a Lasco box fan in the window to cool down and get a glass of sweet tea. Only Lipton or Louisiana and around here, nah. So yeah, y'all sweet tea, boy. I might as well just open up a pack of sugar and just pour it directly down my throat. Yeah, I can't get with it. It's like syrup, but apparently it's the drink down here. And the window fan, it would just be blowing hot, moist air in. So, Yanni says, Halle Berry said when she got her Oscar, she said it did nothing for her. Yeah, you know, and a lot of people say, too, when they get the Oscar, sometimes they're cursed unless they, you know, have already a standing in Hollywood.
Right, but you got to look at a lot of our Oscar winners have usually got it for nefarious reasons. Denzel got it for playing a corrupt cop. Halle got it for playing a, whatever woman, wasn't. Yeah, Monsters Ball. I mean, you know what I mean? So the unfortunate thing about this Oscars was I didn't know Sam Jackson until like 2 days later that he had got an honorary Lifetime Achievement Oscar. And Questlove got an Oscar that Chris Rock was supposed to present. And, it's just so sad that the role that Will won an Oscar for, which was taken away from, was for playing a very complicated person of a Richard Williams. And it's so sad because he basically played a dad that you don't usually see Black people playing like normalized type roles. And it just got taken away because of all the BS.
Absolutely. MoNique says Texas is not as good as people think. Never forget that the state that's our president was assassinated in. That's something that I wouldn't try. I might try other states. I've been to California. Well, he wasn't my president, but maybe he was y'all president. Talking about JFK. In Dallas is where it was. And the sheriff he say Texas is racist AF, worse than the UK. I'm not. It says I'm too. It says loud, but maybe meant loud for that place. He says I would be the neo Emmett Till because I'm outspoken AF. I mean, I'm outspoken too, but I just think anywhere there's a time and a place for that. I mean, of course, you ain't gonna go to the Klan rally and say, "Hey, you white supremacists." I just think, you got to use wisdom, right? So.
Right. And the funny thing is everybody's talking about how the South is super racist and stuff. And you don't realize California is one of the most racist states that we got. And it's democratically controlled.
Yes, indeed. The Pioneer says the media does a lot of fake portrayals of the South in places like Texas, trying to portray it as some sort of peaceful and traditional section of the country where morality abounds. Absurd. Yeah, no, I would tell you that it is absurd. It's very absurd. I don't get out much, so I'm not in the way of any of that. I don't want my daddy to have to come down here and do something to somebody. So, Sunlight says yes, that's Mariah without makeup in her natural. So you're talking about Mariah when she did Precious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, ugh.
Yes, and she looked all right. And Dwayne, he says a foundation of Black America is dying out here in Los Angeles. Demetra, and none of those Hollywood Black support Foundation of Black American Reparation. We must abandon them. They push denigration behavior on our people. We do not expect, he says, accept their way. No, absolutely. I mean, they're exceptional Negroes, Black people, as Dr. Claude Anderson calls them. They've gotten their piece of the pie. And so it's like, I might say something like Black Lives Matter every once in a while, but I'm not really going to go out there and put it on the line per se.
Yeah. Dwayne, did you see Maxine Waters dressed to the nines and all her whites telling the homeless people to go home? Demetra did a story on it on the African Diaspora News channel.
No, my channel.
I'm sorry, on your channel. Yeah. Totally out of touch. This is why these people need to go. And that's why you guys have really got to pay attention to who you're voting for.
Yep, and MoNique says Demetra is not just what when it comes to the Oscars. Let's remember this affects future generations, and they're going to be talking about this for years to come. And while that might mean anything, it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not going to keep talking about it for generations to come. That's their world, right? We got bigger fish to fry. Pioneer says when people find out that South tends to be very violent, nasty, humid weather, poor infrastructure, and widespread poverty, people head back up north or back west quickly. Yeah, because in the South, I think it's very overt, the racism and just kind of how people think. And I think our brothers and sisters that live in the South are kind of used to it, not saying that they think it's okay. They're just used to it. But when you come from somewhere like California or New York or other places, you're like, nah, I'm good. Let me go on back, right? And Mr. Pirebrain says, my family is in Maryland, and 3 weeks before Christmas, I was in a hospital for 2 weeks, and nobody came to visit me. I can't take it anymore. Just lonesome. Yeah, I feel you, brother. I feel you. I remember you.
But that area, that's expensive. Woo.
Yeah, I remember you. I think you said you had some sort of a heart attack or something like that. Don't quote me. So I'm glad that you're feeling better. But yeah, it can be a little bit lonely. I will vouch for that. I don't have a lot of family here. My family does come often though, so that's good. To be able to get hugs and stuff from my siblings and my nieces and nephews and stuff like that. But I understand you on the lonely part. It sometimes It gets to me too. I'm not going to lie. So I understand. Marty said the damage, Demetra, that Will Smith has made it where they are always thinking that something ratchet like this is standard. Now he's facing a permanent backlash, so it must have been a big ordeal for them. Maybe. Pioneer says, laugh out loud, you must have been reading my mind, Brother Donovan, when you talked about Mariah Carey and how plain she looked and precious. She looked like an extra meth addict when portraying a professional. Well, I mean, did she look bad, or did you see that?
She was acting, like I said, and that goes, and that's called method acting when you go to that extreme. I mean, she looked in a natural state. I mean, so that goes to show you how she looked.
I have to button my lips up because I'm shut your mouth, Demetrius, to shut your mouth. Keep reading these comments. Don't get sucked into the vortex of this mess. Okay. You good? You good? Yeah, I'm good. I have to talk to myself sometimes. All right. So Anaya says we need to have our own Oscars, quote unquote. We can't separate from the dominant society and be better than. Okay. Yeah.
But Denise, we had our own Oscar. It was called the Source Awards, and look how that turned out.
Now, I mean, they got like the image awards and things like that. But again, white ice is colder than ours, you know. Yashawn says last post foundational Black Americans and EFF love it. We the shit. Yes. Economic freedom fighters in South Africa, that of Julius Malema. I cannot wait until they come to power. And I says April 30th is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Kiki, the 29th. Are y'all considered Aries?
No, they're Tauruses.
They're Tauruses.
Those are Tauruses.
Okay. I'm an Aries. Okay.
I'm a Taurus.
Thunder, thank you so much for the donation. I love and appreciate you for that, as you always donate. So thank you so much. You said this is for your sweet tea fund, and thank you for the info. Absolutely. You're going to make me try it, huh? Give me diabetes all in one cup. It's set apart heart. How you doing? He says, shalom, folks. Said it took this Will Smith mess for her to get respect. Shaking my head. So you talk about Jada or Black women in general. And J. Cage, how you doing? He says, Aries all day, 100, April 13th. I'm coming to Houston from the Shy. Are you really? Well, so is April 13th your birthday too? Because that's my birthday. Yes, we got to hold it down around here. And the Pioneer says, I think Black folks will be much better off here in the industrial Midwest, in places like Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. I actually lived in Illinois for a couple of months, and it wasn't Southern California. Thoughts of the Week podcast. She says that sweet tea is low-key scissor. Yes, it's sweet. It's like, oh my God, right? It's thick. To me, it is. And Tisha, how you doing? Says, hello, family. I'm late, but I'm here. You are right on time, baby girl. And MoNique says, this weekend we're supposed to have some bash here in Michigan. Puff Puff, no pass, Donovan, Demetra. Please tell me if you celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Nope, don't celebrate it. I'm sure I hear a lot about it from my neighbors and stuff, though. Mr. Pirate Brain says, love the syrup called Big Red in Texas. Yeah, you talking about that soda? Maybe I've had some. I don't know. But yeah, try to stay away from the sodas. Pioneer says, in my opinion, California is even more racist than Texas. Yeah, it's subdued, right? So you think you're, hanging loose or whatever in California. Everybody's kind of just hanging out. But racism is really prevalent in California because you got a lot of entitled white people, if you will. And, especially like places like Orange County, Anaheim and all that. Oh, yeah, they like their racism out front. So.
And then now the Asians and the white Hispanics. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a done deal.
That's my feeling. Says Halle Berry sold her soul to get her Oscar. Yeah, she played in Monsters Ball was the name of the movie. Monsters Ball, where that's kind of weird. She was the love interest. I guess she was the love interest of Billy Bob Thornton, and Puffy was also in there. P. Diddy, however y'all might refer to him. It was really weird, right? Pioneer said, Brother Donovan, once again, you took the words from my mouth. I said, Cali is racist as hell. Yes, indeed. And Dwayne says, I didn't have any problems in Austin, Texas. I haven't been to Austin yet. I heard it's kind of like the party state. So that's probably why I haven't been, because I don't do that. And Tisha says, I think the Northeast is more racist than people think. So you talk about like New York and in that area. Oh, yeah, for sure. And New Jersey, from what I understand as well. And Connecticut. The agitator
Boston.
Says,
and Massachusetts, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The agitator says these United States is racist, right? All of it, right? And Kiki says, I think MoNique was receptive to her husband retraining her, quote unquote, because he was able to show her that he wanted to genuinely love her and take the lead to make her a better woman and a person overall, to help her and not dominate her or stagnate her progress as a woman and professionally. Sounds like he's a man who truly knows how to lead and cover his woman/wife. That's a beautiful thing. What woman wouldn't want to submit to that? You better tell it. Pioneer says the way they want to sell you the Los Angeles of movies and rap videos. Those are the handful of rich Black folks who live in the hills, but over 90% of the rest of the Black population is on the streets. Yes, indeed, and struggling, right?
Facts.
Darius, how you
Facts.
doing? Says, yep, Darius, how you doing? Says, greetings and blessings. Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for being here. And Thunder says, DK and Don, I heard that Finland is trying to join NATO, and I wonder what Russia will have to say about this. Finland is on their northwestern border.
During World War II, Finland kicked the shit out of the Soviet Union for a minute. And so I think Russia, knowing the history of it, was kind of like pause before they kind of fuck with Finland.
But who's to say they won't try now, because the United States and everybody else are just standing by kind of watching Ukraine go through it. So it's a good point, though. And Dwayne says, yeah, we saw Maxine Evil behind, and we are taking steps to remove all the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus traitors. Count on if we, Foundational Black Americans, are unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. We don't give a damn anymore. Yeah, she was out there. What had happened is somebody made an erroneous post saying that they were giving away Section 8 vouchers. Section 8 is subsidized housing and permanent housing. So a copious amount of people showed up, almost 500 from what they say. And they were like, no, somebody lied. We're not giving away free vouchers or, vouchers. And she was like, go home. Basically, there's nothing to see here. And it's like, what? We ain't got a place to go, right? So she's like, well, we'll take your name down. Basically, blah, blah, blah. We're going to lie to you even more, right? So that's what happened. But go home. And Kiki says, I still say there should be a limitation to positions in the Senate. No way should someone occupy a seat for several generations. I can't wrap my brain around that. Yeah, but the crazy part about it, Kiki, is we allow them because we keep voting them in, right? And Tisha says, I took Mariah's deposition. She's cute in person, extra, but cute. Yeah, Mariah is the ultimate diva, and I think deservingly so, right? I mean, it's Mariah Carey, but I ain't going to touch that comment they said about Mimi. I like Mariah Carey, so. Pioneer says, if Finland joins or seriously tries to join NATO, Russia will attack. In fact, they most likely will attack Finland for even making a serious attempt before their membership is finalized. I agree with you. And Darius says, Sister K and Brother Brother Sadiq and chat room, I've been in Southern California most of my life. It's very racist here. Yeah. I mean, I was born in Northern California, but lived in Southern California my whole life as well. So I agree with you. The agitator says, whatever happened to the Image Awards? I think it still goes on. They had it not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Pyrebrand says, Mariah looked natural and sexy. I love a woman with hair on her arms and legs. She was great and precious. Hey, hair grows on your legs naturally, right? I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with Mariah. I just think a lot of times men, y'all get this false perception sometimes of how women should look. I mean, Mariah probably looks like that around her house. Y'all see her all, glitz and glam. Hell, shoot, when I wake up in the morning, I got a bonnet on my head, and it take me some work to, to look decent. So I mean, y'all, I like I said, I'm gonna shut up and keep reading these comments. MoNique says, and he said, Demetra, he says, I'm sending you some videos, and I'm going to break them up in 3 parts so that you can share them with the show. Was how you your elected officials do those of us who are disabled. Okay, please send it to me. But I want to say this. We need to stop voting for those elected officials and really get the word out that they need to go, right? Brother Donnell says, the Oscars is white approval, and slaves love to get white people's approval. We don't think independent enough to get the setup. It says PTA awards, which the Oscars is stolen from. Our approval should be cherished above all approval first. But that stems from self-love. Yes, and it is rooted in self-hate that we deem the Oscars to be the end-all, be-all, right? And Kemet, how you doing? He says, you think them people's got a ritual ready for her? Her being MoNique? I don't know. That good question. You talking about the Illuminati. That is what they say is going on, an esoteric society in Hollywood where they do some pretty demonic things. I don't know. Darius says, I was so done with the Will, Jada, and Chris media circus when I first heard about it. Absolutely. I'm with you. And thank you so much, MoNique, for the birthday wishes again, which is not my birthday yet. It will be, though. And maybe I'll wear, some lipstick. Pioneer says, Donovan, laugh out loud, man. I'm tired of you reading my mind and making comments before I can even finish typing them. Yeah, y'all got
great minds think alike. That's just how it is.
There you go. Jafia, how you doing? It says, good evening. Oh, yes, indeed. And Pioneer says, straight up Russia won't allow it. I'm with you on that one. Martin says, Dimitri, I was born and raised in Michigan, visiting some of cousins 20 years ago. A few have died, lived in Tennessee. I can see the difference in day and night. No way would I live in the South ever. Well, maybe I don't know, but most Black people in America live in the South. So, and Tisha says, but they won't vote on term limits and we won't vote them out. There you go. I mean, it's on us at this point. There it says, can we please move on from these celebritards and the comment cut off? I'll get to the rest of it. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. One says, Dimitri, it's your birthday month. Yeah, it's birthdays. I'll take a birthday. That's fine for me. Thoughts of the Week podcast says, Dimitri and Donovan, did y'all mention that Pfizer sponsored the Oscars and that Pfizer has an alopecia treatment? Could this all be public shaming, humiliation, ritual? It could be. I mean, anything is possible, right? We won't rule anything out. William, how you doing? He says, I just think you should see the above propaganda article. Did you see an article posted, Donovan? I didn't see one. So for some reason, sometimes YouTube will filter it out if you posted it. Maybe post it again. Facts Not Feelings says, Northern states practice the kind of racism find in Europe. It's a nuanced kind of racism, which is way worse than in your face kind. Absolutely. And that's what it is in California. A lot. Yeah.
And guess what? Now that all these Ukrainians are coming here and Biden is giving them more money, the State Department has acknowledged that there are some Nazis coming here to America and they don't have a problem with it.
Why would they? There's a lot that's already here, Pioneer says, now that Russia sees that the U.S. is so hesitant to get involved in defending a country unless it's on an actual member of NATO, that says there's a good chance they can take Finland, no problem. I agree with you. And Kiki says, right, that's crazy to me as well. Like, are Black people really voting for them? Are they cheating? It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome. Why keep voting for their demise? That's what we do, vote for oppression and then be mad because we oppressed. There he says, these do nothing Black politicians. We have no Black leadership, quote unquote, and representation. Exactly. They're misleadership. As Malcolm would call them, Malcolm X. And Pioneer says, the most racist place in the North, in my opinion, is Pennsylvania.
And Pioneer, guess where Joe Biden is from?
Scranton. Morgan says, Donovan, with you being in California, is California most certainly certain parts in Hispanic community, do they have a lot of festivals for Cinco de Mayo? And if not, why? Same question, Dimitri.
Yes, California used to be Mexico. So yeah, there's a lot of communities here, and they really don't celebrate it, the Hispanics, because that's not really a Mexican Independence Day, but it's a beer corporation holiday. So you're going to see a bunch of people hanging out, but the Mexicans really don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
I mean, they kind of have a Cinco de Mayo every weekend, especially in California. Darius, she said, I used to. And Pioneer says the Latinos in California are different than the Latinos in Detroit. In California, they are mostly Central American. In Detroit, they're about half Puerto Rican and half Central American. Okay. And let's see here. Thunder says, who would have a problem if she woke up in a slip with those pink rollers with the foam in the middle? Not me. Listen, we know you. We know you like your women with the slips, cigarette hanging out of the mouth, and cooking your bacon and eggs, and damn near dropping the ashes in your damn food. We know you love it.
She's got to twist the bra around to take it off.
Most of us do, Donovan.
I'm talking about the big hangers.
Mona says, see, Dimitri, if you had your lipstick on, you could do that. You just have to slip on some wine and singing happy birthday to yourself. But you're right. Demetra, no doubt it's nonsense, all of it. Yes, indeed. And Pioneer says Ohio was pretty racist. Yes, it's more than Michigan, but Nebraska is more racist than Ohio, but none of them seem to be as openly racist as Pennsylvania. It's all racist, all of it. And the sheriff, as you say, Ukrainian. So that's what you meant to say, I think. And William says New York Post propaganda against blacks. So you're talking about the one where they said why black women should date white men. Is that the one you're talking about? I did see that. Crazy, right? And Thunder says stock up family. Even the press said the hunger is coming. Yeah, nah, people got to get caught off guard and not have what they need and then be like, we're hungry, right? And Darius says I used to love and respect Sister Mariah Carey 1990 2000. After her mental emotional breakdown, to me her music and her public life went straight into the trash bin. What a waste of one's talented. Well, I happen to be somewhat of a Mariah Carey aficionado. So I don't know if you know she was married to Tommy Mottola during that time after that demise, and that was planned. She divorced him, and he set out to destroy her. Now, most of y'all have seen Glitter, and they told us it was a horrible movie. I loved Glitter. I loved the soundtrack. I thought it was a great movie, but that was done to her to try to destroy her. And then when she had the Emancipation of Mimi, which was like one of the best albums to me ever, she came back. So that was
what was the album? What was the album before Emancipation of Mimi?
I don't remember.
Charm Bracelet.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So Emancipation of Mimi is one of my favorite albums, not just from her, but favorite
Fly
album.
like a bird.
Yeah, yes indeed. But Mariah Carey is still talented. I mean, who's gonna do it better than Mariah? I mean, I know her voice is not what it was. She had an 8-octave voice. You get older, your voice drops. So anyway, let me get off of that. Marty says Jupiter, the money planet is going to move in Aries May 10th and stay until October. Come back late December and stay until June 2023. That's your time to get your money right, and it's time to get money. I like that. Dwayne says, we foundational Black Americans must get rid of all haters of FBA, foundational Black Americans, or stop associating with them, right? But I will say this: I ascribe to foundational Black American theory. It's new lately with that of Brother Tariq Nasheed, but I am a Pan-Africanist. Always have been. So, Jafia, you say, I think they are bringing all these people into the country only to increase the Caucasian population. Yeah, Donald Trump said it, and Biden is just acting upon it, right? So they're all in the same game. Darius says, woman, but to each is her own. So you're talking about Mariah. Okay. Dwayne says, just got my hidden colors and bug breaking and foundational Black American flag in Tariq's book with his signature. All right. I actually bought bug breaking, and I got a few of the hidden color DVDs, if you will. So yes, very, very profound and interesting work from him. Pioneer says, of course, Jim Crow Joe is from Pennsylvania and he's of Irish descent. That's one of the reasons Pennsylvania and the East Coast is so racist. You have a lot of those ethnic whites. Yes, indeed. And MoNique says, what other day of the week are you going to be on, Demetrius? So we may support you. What are you guys going to do for Good Friday and Easter? Can you answer, Demetrius Donovan? Do not celebrate Easter, nor do I celebrate Good Friday. We are going to be on live Sunday. And of course, we do the podcast on Tuesday and Saturday. But I will say this, I am going to be doing a show with Walter, a financial show, to, kind of give you guys some tips and things on how we can better ourselves financially as Black people, because that's where it is. And we're going to do that every Wednesday. It will be, I don't know if it'll be live or we're just going to put it out there, but I'm going to call it Wealth Wednesday with Walter. You guys have seen my brother on before. He's given a lot of good advice. So y'all tell me if y'all want that live or y'all want it to just be recorded. Let me know. And yes, y'all, if y'all could hit the like button and share, we love and appreciate you. And let's see here. And Brother Don, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetra and Donovan. And Darius says, I hear that Boston is extremely racist too. Yep. It's racist everywhere, right? And the agitator says, marrying and dating a zaddy is definitely a no for me. That's a no for me too. And Dwayne says, all of those Hollywood folks have given up their souls. We're done. Even those ones who haven't given up their souls can't be trusted. Ain't nobody crazy, Demetra. Something is going on, something evil. It always has been, right? That's why they call it Holly weird, because those folks are kind of weird, right? Good morning, said Donovan. Tell us when you're going to do a live so I can come and support your show as well. I'm glad to know that you're going to legally pursue. He says, had I been there, I'd have mopped the floor with her real quick. I know that's right. And Donovan will tell us when he's going to go live. And Kiki says, yeah, I posted about that on my page. All that's going on over there. And Nazis are trying to chase down brothers. Yep. Their racism doesn't even take a break in war and tragedy. I'm disgusted. And that's who they want Black men over there to fight for. This is the stuff I talk about, the sheer madness. Yeah, nothing's changed, though. Same with all the other wars. Brothers will go fight and come back here and have to fight, to be even seen as human. So same old, really. Defiance says, my favorite album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Yes, indeed. I think that's probably on most people's top 10, I would think, right? And Thunder says, what do you think about the reparations in California? It seems like they're really trying to add in other folks. Well, it's something that Gavin Newsom and them are looking at. They are trying to trace the lineage of people who had slave ties to, direct descendants of slavery, if you will. What it all entails, I'm not sure. They are talking about money, giving money. We're talking about giving Native Americans $100 million so they could buy land and things. So I don't know what California is really doing.
Well, let me weigh in on that. You got to think about this. It should only be based by lineage. That's the only way you do it. Recently, Jamaica has asked for reparations from Britain. So as Black Americans, what are we entitled to go down to Jamaica and say we want our money too? So right. All these people that came here willingly should keep their hand out of the cookie jar, because that is for people who could trace their lineage.
That. Yeah, that's what they said. They said, nah, if you ain't, you don't have direct ties to slavery, this is not for you. But then there's some people who say, well, that's not fair, who are kind of arguing that of what California is doing. So you're absolutely right. So you guys say you guys want to see it live. Okay, well, we can do it live. So Wednesdays, this is coming up Wednesday, we're going to have Walter on, and he is going to be, talking about money, which is what his favorite thing to talk about, and how to get more of it, different strategies of, whatever it is. Walter will prepare, and I'll just sit here. And of course, we won't be able to read all the comments because y'all know Walter can be long-winded. So I will pick out questions and things like that, but it'll be interesting. And hopefully we can help ourselves to move along financially, right? So we will do that. And the sheriff says, why would Hitler give weapons to Haile Selassie? He says, if he hated Black people, we need to research certain things before we believe these people's distorted history. Yeah, so I've heard that too. Of course, there's different sides of every story, but we know that when the United States is writing a story about somebody, usually it's probably the opposite, right? So absolutely. Reggie says, salute to Brother Walter.
His story.
Exactly.
Napoleon said this very, very, history is written by the winners, not by the losers. It's written by the winners. Yes,
indeed. That's also an African proverb, if I'm not mistaken. And Reggie says, salute to Brother Walter. Yes, indeed. He will be on here giving us the game. Pioneer says, someone mentioned earlier that you need to get rid of those who are against FBA as a FBA Foundation of Black America. My question is, will that with white folks who are anti-foundational Black Americans first before moving on to other groups? So you're saying, are you going to get rid of the white people first? I'm going to let y'all answer that one. That's a good question, though. Very good question. And the agitator says, live will be better. Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. Yes, indeed. So we'll have it live. And let's see. MoNique says, Donovan, I see that you now enjoy the puff, no pass. What's up with that? My favorite pastime. That's a good time to enjoy. Always illegal in Michigan fully.
I would like to say disclosure, as somebody who flies airplanes, I do not and have never, ever used drugs.
Me either. Believe it or not. And some days I was like, weed would sound real good right now, but I don't know. Easy, how you doing? He says, hello, D and Donovan. I live in New State for 22 years. Is that New York maybe or New Jersey? He says for 22 years. And I can tell you that while there, I saw more Confederate flags than in the South. All the northern states racist, including Canada. Yes, indeed, brother. And Tracy says, looking forward to seeing Walter. Have gotten good tips from him. Yes, he is going to be back. And y'all know Walter, he gives the game. So, and the sheriff, she says, remember that what they have done to us in our lifetime. Why would we believe anything they say? Good point. And Darius says, yes, Sis K. Thank you for the info on Tommy Mottola. Yes, that guy is bad news. I've been following Carrie's career from day one. I wish that she would musically return to the first decade of her career. Well, you know, when you singing that way for so long, and age catches up to you too. I mean, having an 8-octave voice is rare, right? Y'all heard those high notes she would hit. When you get older, your voice, bless you, your voice drops, right? Y'all can hear my voice is like, because I talk all the time. So eventually it is going to, she's not going to be able to sing like that anymore, right? So,
and you know, and you got to remember, we're talking about Tommy Mottola. Michael Jackson wrote a song about him and how he helped get rid of Michael Jackson's career and dog him out.
Yeah, Tommy Mafia Mottola. And MoNique says, I used to carbonate different types of water from the crocks to bubbles, different flavors to replace the pot flavor. And I'm going to make some with vodka and dedicate it to you guys. Thank you. Fun Sunday. Okay, so you partake of the plant, huh? I think Pioneer, maybe he meant New Jersey or New York. I can't speak for him, but maybe. I think that's what Easy meant. And Darius says, not likely to happen, though. And the sheriff says, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is a classic album all day long. Thunder says, Tariq even posted a warning from the Peace Corps to Black people who are going over Ukraine and the high level of racism that they will experience while they're here. So actually, the Peace Corps posted that on their website saying, hey, you might get called the N-word, but just ignore it. You're over there to help them.
What happened to your long lost uncle that went over there, the military veteran and stuff? We haven't heard from him since.
Oh boy, not my uncle, but the brother, I'm gonna say that loosely, who was going over there because he got friends over there. I don't know. Maybe he's done. How do you play taps? dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun.
right.
Yeah, maybe maybe he's pushing up daisies over. I don't know. And the annotator says, right, Donovan, by lineage only. Jafia says, reparation in Cali will be lineage-based only. Exactly. Pioneer says, I think the entire argument they bring up in California was designed to cause argument and fighting amongst Black folks. They weren't serious about giving reparations, just stirring up the beehive. You might be wrong to something, but they're clear that it has to be people who have direct lineage to slavery, right?
Right. And then you got to look at it like this also, Pioneer. If California figures this out, what's going to be Congress's excuse not to figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, because you're starting to hear more of a conversation and it's getting louder and louder and louder by Black people like, yo, write the check. So I don't know. And Don says, Walter live the best way. All right, we'll have crazy Walter live. And Easy says, has anyone heard anything else about the Jamaican that went up on a hunting trip with his Pennsylvania white friends killed by them, claiming self-defense? They dropped it. They said that they believed that it was self-defense. And so they, left it at that. But, they probably have police ties and, they believe it. So nothing. But the other cautionary tale is, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad warned, stop being around them folks. And why on earth would you be the only one? I don't get us sometimes. It's like, oh, well, they're cool with me. Like, oh my God. And then you come up missing or shot 8 times, talking about with self-defense. It's like, that's kind of on you. You should know better, right? I don't know. And then a lot of times too, people, our brothers and sisters that come from other countries, they don't really see themselves like us or having a struggle. So they might get with them, the mayonnaise militia, if you will, and think, well, I'm not like those other Blacks. They like me. And then, they talk about it was self-defense. And, that Negro got out of pocket. So we were scared and we did something to him. So, and Darius says, I don't know how many Black people more than white people themselves feel an obligation to pray for Ukraine, quote unquote, and to go put our Black lives, I think you meant, on the line. Yeah. I haven't personally heard of Black people saying they want to go over there, but I've read about it. MoNique says, I was really disappointed with Maxine and how she spoke to the homeless, especially when many of them just became homeless or leaving out of domestic violence. I consider her to be a liar. Glad to see her leave. I think you meant hopefully, I mean, she's up for I think she might be up for re-election, maybe. I don't know. But Maxine has been there for a very long time. Oh, hey. Donovan was frozen, I think, so he'll be back. Pioneer says, first of all, any serious talk about giving Black people reparations would be a federal level, not a state level. Well, the state can do it. The state can give money away. They got, California, from what I understand, sounds like they got a surplus. So they're trying to give away a bunch of money. So they can do it if they want to. Federal, I guess it would be on that level, but the states can do it if they wanted to. And Jonelle says, right, Donovan, I was typing that history is made and told by the winners. The losers have no say. Absolutely. And Jason, how you doing? So what's up, y'all? It's been a minute. How y'all doing? We are doing fabulous. Donovan will be back. I think his computer froze or something. And Tay, what's going on? It says, weed is not cool. It's turning our kids into slackers. Yes. And Dr. Wesley Muhammad, he talks about weed all the time and what they are doing, manufacturing it. And his thesis is that, in his theory, is that it is feminizing our Black boys and men. So y'all should check it out, but I agree with you. And Pioneer, he says, even a big wealthy state like California doesn't have enough money and resources to properly give Black residents reparations, and they know it. They're just talking about it to stir up emotions. Yeah, it's because the money that's really due us. Yeah, I don't.
Well, but here's the thing, Pioneer. See, that's a misnomer, because we just spent almost what, $8 trillion, $9 trillion in a 20-year war with Afghanistan, and nobody paid for it. They put it on the credit card. So just put it on the grandkids and the kids in the 4 areas. So you just go ahead and just give us the people that are here their money and worry about it later.
Well, he's talking about on the state level, not federal level.
But even the state level too, it'd be the same thing.
Maybe. I know California has a lot of money. They were talking about $265 billion that they're trying to do something with, and $100 million of that they want to give to Native Americans. So,
and then you got to remember, California is the 10th biggest economy in the world. Right. So don't tell me they don't have the money.
And Facts Not Feeling says, picture the zombies in the movie I Am Legend. That's how racism is always trying to destroy Blacks. Once Blacks accepted their reality and began to plan an effective resistance, we will be all right. Yeah, we're not going to have a choice. We're going to be forced into doing that, whether we like it or not, right? And Kubler, you say a second option to a cash payout as a second option to a cash payout for reparations. Did I miss a comment of yours? Did I miss a comment of hers, Donovan?
I can't see it.
Okay, and Brother Stanley, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, before his death, Michael Jackson said Tommy Mottola was the devil. Yeah, Tommy was after, and they said, Brother Dick Gregory, he said that Tommy might have been complicit in what happened to Michael because he wanted that catalog. Tommy Mottola wanted it badly, and guess who has it now? Tommy Mottola. So Kiki says, how do you feel about Emmett Till or the lynching bill? I mean, it took only over 120 years and like 200 no's. But hey, how convenient with midterms coming up, right? My advice, don't fall for the shit. That's covered in a honey. I'm still not voting Democrat. Well,
amen.
Yeah, I mean, does that, I know Black people are predominantly lynched, but is that just for us? And isn't lynching already capital 1 murder? And isn't that already punishable up into death? So adding a hate crime onto killing somebody, and meaning to kill them, to me, is all symbolism. I mean, like you said, it took forever. Not just they named it Emmett Till, but an anti-lynching bill. It took them over 120 years and 200 tries to do it. But like you said, it's more symbolism to say, look at what we did for y'all. But that to me is kind of backwards in acknowledging, well, we know y'all been getting lynched up, but now we're going to, and then this is the other thing too. They got to prove, I guess lynching somebody is a hate crime, but there's so much other red tape that they got to go through before they actually deem it to be a hate crime, right? They're like, well, we got to see, did they just lynch them regularly or did they call them the N-word when they did it? So it's all kind of like play on your emotions, if you will.
Right. And then, like I said, wouldn't it have been so much easier because you didn't hear the congressional Black talkers or any of these so-called pastors or Black leaders just to add Black people onto the Asian crime bill. Statistics show that nobody in this country gets more flack, killed, assaulted, whatever, than black people. But yet Asians, who are the richest group of people in the United States, get a crime bill on the very first try.
Well, the answer was in the question. The richest people in the United States, money talks, unity talks. That's why they got it. And Jafia says, I had an 8-octave range, but I could not sing as well as Mariah. I have only 6 now. Yeah, and I don't know how old you are, but yeah, when you get older, your voice does drop. I mean, call me at first thing in the morning, like, hello, how you doing? It's just the way it is. And Baruch, how you doing? He says, shalom, shalom, Sister Kate, and Brother Donovan, back at you. And Thunder says, please look up Ukrainian MRE and tell me what that logo looks like on that green bag. Yes, I have seen it, and it is comparable to that of a swastika, I guess you could say. Pioneer says, however, my question remains for those who want to get rid of those who are anti-foundational Black Americans. Will that start with white folks who are anti-foundational Black Americans first, and then working your way to the other groups? I mean, no, you asked an excellent question. I'm going to let that stand on its own because I think it does deserve an answer. That is really a kick-ass question, if you ask me, because I know where you're going with it. So I'm going to see what happens in the comment section. And Dwayne says, we foundational Black Americans must empower the foundational Black man and the foundational Black American woman. Is crucial that we reject their evil, bussy popping. That's not foundational Black American. For those of you guys who are wondering what bussy is, you guys can pretty much, figure it out. And William says, okay, so how do you prove a direct lineage? What will be the requirements?
Let me just say this. We're in the 21st century. Do you know, to trace back to generationally, you're talking about no more than 4 to 5 generations. My grandfather is still alive today. He was born in 1926. He is still alive today. So that means his grandparents would have been slaves. So it's not hard at all. Then you got to remember, slaves were considered property. So they were registered. All of this stuff could be proved. Do not feed into the media's BS like, oh my God, it's impossible, it's so hard. It's not. It's not. Now you also have DNA that can help do that. But every foundational Black person can trace their lineage back as far as the founding of this country. It's in the National Archives. They have the records. It's there.
Let you run a toll road, they gonna find your Black ass real fast, right? We saw you run the toll road, and we need you to pay up so they can find out. And let's see here. The agitator says the comment in the New York Post has me thinking that every angle they try to stop Black men and women from being together, and a lot of us are on code too, but more need to get on code and stay on code. You're absolutely right. And Stanley says, I hope they figure it out, but so many orphans and people killed, records destroyed, etc. Just another excuse. Pay us, right? Yep. Run the check. And Mr. Pirate Brain says Tommy Mottola was Mariah's zaddy. Yes, indeed. Well, he was her husband. And, Mariah Carey is partially white as well. And William says Black immigrants can still get reparations, go through their respective countries, have them file. We all know how America and England roll. Very good point. The agitator says exactly, Demetri K. They're putting themselves in the lion's den. Yeah, like why are you doing that? Why are you hanging out with just them by yourself? It wouldn't be me. And I says, stop looking for white approval. We can be friends with our own people. Very good point. And Sheila says, weed is the new crack. You ain't lying. I mean, it's like some people can't live without it. They wake up to it. They eat all day, go to sleep to it. It's like, my God. Your ambition is what it does.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even that. I mean, they're lacing it with fentanyl and all this crazy shit. So it's. I don't see how people can do it. I just don't see how they can do it.
Yep. And Darius says, yes, Sister K, don't hang around them folks. You might not be seen alive ever again. Real talk. Yeah, and they're going to get away with it. Oh, he was acting crazy and we were scared and we had to do something. You had to do it. Yes, we had to do it. Okay. Don't worry about it.
Here's some advice. If you're going to go on a trip with a bunch of white people, take your Wi-Fi body cam in case something does happen to you. It's already in the cloud. so your loved ones can get it.
I could do you one better. If you're going to go on a trip with a bunch of them, don't go on a trip with a bunch of them. Okay. And Facts Not Feeling says, what the F happened to black people's scruples? How the F can you go fight for people who are treating blacks worse than animals over here, over in Ukraine? That's because we thinking, oh, I'm American and we're all in this together and we're gonna go brainwash, right? We're gonna come back here and get called the N-word quick. Deadshot, how you doing? And Brookie says the dollar is worthless. Yeah. We still need it though, but yeah, I get your point. It is pretty much worthless, right? Mr. Pirate Brain says, yeah, I hope Walter is not rude to me again for asking the question. Was he rude to you? You know what? For him being rude to you, I'm gonna when I see him again. But my apologies if he was. I'm sorry that if he was. Walter can be very straightforward. And I want to say that just right up front. Walter's very no nonsense. He likes to have fun too, but he's like, let's get to this money. He says nothing else matters about politics or anything else. If we broke, you know, you have more say so when you got money. It's just the truth, right? If you don't believe me, go to the store and say, well, you know, I just feel like I should be able to walk out of here with this basket of groceries. They're gonna be like, yeah, how much money you got? I don't have any. Well, you ain't got any groceries either. So money is really, you know, important. And Shawnee says them, and MoNique says, Demetra, it may not be your birthday yet, but I believe in wishing a person happy birthday their whole entire birthday month into the next month because it takes a baby 30 days to know if it's going to live. Okay, well, I'll take that, MoNique. You can wish me happy birthday every day. I'm not going to say no. Pioneer says, first of all, if California or any other state was passing out money for reparations, they know black folks from all over the nation would move move to that state, which is why they wouldn't seriously do it. Well, I know they better run.
Just like they did for welfare. You know, remember welfare? Everybody was coming to California because the welfare was better than any other state in the union.
They better run me my money. I know that, even though I ain't there. Shit, I've been there all my whole life. They better say, we ain't forgot you.
Don't worry, I'll collect your check. No, don't worry about it. I'm good for it. I'm good with it.
Cash App works. And pioneers say, they also say they just put these studies, quote unquote, out to sit back and watch how black folks argue and fight with each other over money they don't have and have little chance of getting. I mean, you might be on to something. Spice says the lynching bill is not for blacks only. Correct. Yeah, because what happens if a Mexican gets lynched? That's going to be for them, which, you know, Mexicans got lynched as well, you know, during slavery and all of that.
Right. So, but here in California, there's actually, I took an ethics class, California ethics class here. And there's actual pictures where Mexicans weren't even allowed to go into parks, just like black people. So,
right. That guy from Texas, how you doing? He says, peace and blessings, everyone. And Darius says, well, according to the Judge Joe Brown, recently, California is broke. I guess the state is broke when it comes to specifically to the black people. See the worsening homeless problem in the state. Yeah.
Yes, it's broke when it comes to black people. Exactly. Because we've been gentrified out of neighborhoods. Once they gentrify us out of there, we can't afford to live in California anymore. Half of your homeless people in the state of California are black, even though we're only, 5% of the population here?
Yeah, about that.
5%, but we're half of the homeless population. And thus, we are now going to Texas and places and driving up the prices there because a $350,000 house to a Californian, that's a bargain.
Oh, yeah. Shit, that's a steal. Sean says reparations given out by states are a bad idea because it's not money the federal governments are going to use that against our people. Yeah, I agree. It should come from the federal level.
Well, see, here's the thing, okay? It's just like Joe Biden incentivizing the states to lock up all these black people. For every dollar that the state spends, the federal government matched it. So it doesn't matter if it comes from the states. The federal government could match every dollar that the state puts out in reparations. So eventually, it's going to come from the federal government anyway.
Yes, indeed. The partner says, I agree with you too. Most of these laws are nothing but symbolism. First of all, who is going to enforce these new laws? The same racist cops who are breaking them in the first place. You better preach. Brother Jonell says, it's sad to see women smoking harder than men and smelling loud within and without. We can't imagine what those various toxins is really doing to the smokers. Yeah, I mean, some people, hell, even driving on the streets in Texas, I know it's illegal, and you smell it coming out of people's cars. I'm like, y'all real bold with that one, right? It's horrible. It's in the hair, the clothes. It's like,
well, like they're saying, the fentanyl overdoses is at an epic proportion right now.
Yeah. And Jeremy says there's no option for our reparations only steps. Step 1, cut the check. Step 2, 100 years of tax exemptions. We can go on from there. I agree with you. And Thunder says, I think as a woman gets older, her voice sounds more sexy like Eartha Kitt from Boomerang.
My kids.
My kids. Oh, I really got it today. My kids. I hope my voice comes back, but yeah, it's been doing this for the last week or so. So maybe I'm gonna sound like Mars Simpson. I don't know. Kugler says, as a second option to cash reparations, would you all be open to special high interest yield 401k IRA account specifically for a descendant of this diaspora, something like 38 to 45% for the next 100 years?
Absolutely not, because you got to remember, when you put your money in the IRA and the 401k, you're gambling. I lost $120,000 in 2007, and there's nothing I could do about it. So no, give me my money in cash. I'm out the door.
401k is tied to the stock market. So, we know that they can doctor and finagle the stock market if they wanted to, right? So yeah, no, absolutely not. And MoNique says, Demetria, one of the things I'm really pissed off is that when you contact your local elected official and you ask them for help, won't do a damn thing to help you snakes. What they are. Yeah, well, we need to stop voting for them, period. Thunder says, did you see the clipper? It says, did you see the clipper Tariq, where the Jamaican brother was confused about how that works, but he wasn't confused about the CARICOM? And break that down for me. I'm not really for sure what that is, and forgive me for that. Dwayne says, we foundational Black Americans are not with their fake unity or fake religion like the Sentinelese people. He says our national anthem is called Light 'Em Up. All right. Yes, the Sentinelese people. That is, those are the ones that have their own special island, and they will spear your behind up like a shish kebab, okay? And drag your body off, and then your mama have to just say, it's so hard.
Yeah, you'd have to get in a boat like 20 miles off of the island and do a memorial out in the ocean.
Yeah. the Coast Guard was like, listen, we ain't gonna be able to get his body back. They be trying to throw spears at helicopters and stuff. So he should have took his ass over there. Okay, just know that he was a Christian, and hopefully he was right with Jesus, and that he's in heaven. And let's see here. Piner says, these new laws remind me of Neely Fuller on white folks apologizing. They can give you all the apologies you want. They don't cost anything, and they are little substance. Absolutely. Everybody should follow Neely Fuller Jr. He is the truth, and he's been trying to wake Black people up forever, right? Sheila says, all of our lineage goes back to slavery. Very true. And especially, if you're in America, right? Some people say, well, Black people are already here. You think they say, well, we're going to leave the Black people who were here alone, right? Not everybody got roped in. So you're absolutely right. Sean says, my grandma was passed away at the age of 111. We got all her paperwork. There you go. So
yeah, like I said, they're going to tell you how impossible it is, but you're only talking about 4 or 5 generations. That's all you're talking about. And y'all, come on, we're Black folks. There's an aunt or somebody that got the picture of your great grandmother hanging with the white folks and all that other stuff back in the days. We have all that documented. It's in the old photo book. You guys know. You guys know.
Yes, indeed. And Thunder says, maybe we should hire the child support people, right? The child support people, they seem to be able to find people who owe money. You ain't lying. They be on it. And William says, what if you are adopted and your real family was never talked about? Donovan, what avenues are available?
Again, you also have your DNA, which you can do. And then if it comes to the money part of it, whatever records you had that were sealed in your adoption, they would have to go into that to figure out where you're at and where you can go. So to me, if you're an adopted person, that's even better for you because you have a record to start with and to trace back.
Absolutely. And Brother Janelle says, our moral practice is our salvation in this world. Absolutely. And MoNique says, but let's rest assured, Demetria, Biden is going to be one term. He has not done nothing for the community, and his approval rating is going down. Over half people are so fickle that they'll let 45 back in. Well, what's the difference, really? Were you bad? Were you worse off under Trump than you are with Biden? You really got to ask yourself that, right? Bossa Nova, how you doing? He says, greetings. The news media, old mainstream that is talking real greasy about the brothers who broke Amazon's back and former union in New York. Yeah.
Yes, corporations don't like unions, and people will say, "Oh, the Democrats are for the unions and all this other stuff." Why were they so hard fighting against it? Where was Nancy Pelosi and all these Democrats standing up for these Amazon workers? You didn't see not one of them. Corporate Democrats, there's no difference.
You guys, that is really, really huge. Huge that they were able to do that. Because I'm going to tell you, corporations, that is the last thing they want, is to lose control of their company. And so now what that's going to do is send a message to the other Amazon warehouses all over the country, and hell, even maybe all over the world, that, you know what? They did it. We need to do it. All they got to do is get enough people to sign up, and to bring the union on. It's a wrap. But I think that Amazon should be regulated by the union, because they've been getting away with doing people dirty, and not to mention the racism and a lot of stuff that goes on in the warehouses there.
Well, what about the pay and the discrepancies? I mean, and then the tax revenue they gave to the city. How could you be a multi-gazillion company and pay no taxes? Come on.
Right. And the ghost of President George Jefferson. All right. How you doing? He says, yes, I've arrived. Sunlight says Tommy Mottola is a gangster organized crime. Yep, that's what they say. Facts Not Feeling says the lynching bill is a con job because the racists have explicitly say you are offing the black person only because they're black before the prosecutor even consider hate crime charges. Yep, so it is. It's a sham, right? Then it says, did you see the clip where Tariq was talking to the Jamaican brother and he couldn't understand because he understood the CARICOM? What's CARICOM, if you don't mind me asking? I didn't see the clip, by the way. And MoNique says, but it's amazing how Russia keeps going into the African countries, asking and begging for them to help with their war, but you don't like black people and you want them to go last. We're trying to leave. It's not Russia, it's the Ukraine.
Right.
That is adverse to black people. And actually, Russia has an alliance with a lot of African countries.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, though, Moni? They do that because they know you've got some black bootlicks out there that will go and fight. Just the same way as you have, black people here.
Yes, indeed. And the pioneer says, like Dr. Wesley Muhammad said, this ain't real weed that loud. These kids are smoking ain't real marijuana, but genetically modified chemistry. Yes, indeed. And Darius says, Sister Demetria K and Brother Donovan Sadiq, I think you wanted to say something to us. And Kiki says, nope, it's not just for us as usual. They threw the whole people of color, quote unquote, in it. It also applies to the whites as well. And it has to be proven as a hate crime for it to even apply. Once again, black people have to share the buffet, whereas when it comes to others, we have to find the plate first. Shine your eyes in the symbolism of my people. He says, like I said, don't fall for the shit that's covered in honey. Yep, but they're going to do it, right? They're going to get all the black bootlicks on board. Oh, look what they did for black people. But we got to just be diligent about getting the word out. Like, nah, that's all symbolism, right? Brother Jonel says, majority of us still think and do as the slave. Yep. And Amoni says, when you become free in your mind, stop taking the BS. Now I'm becoming woke in many different ways that I'm never going back. I don't owe any explanation of why I'm not voting. I'm not going to be bullied. I know that's right, sister. Pioneer says, well, it's more ridiculous. It's more ridiculous. Russia going to Africa and trying to recruit Africans to fight for them, or Africans actually joining to fight for Russia in Ukraine. Yes, it's the latter, I would say. And Africa's really not wanting to get involved, but as Minister Farrakhan said, they're not going to have a choice. And
right. And you guys also got to think of, why would somebody do that? It's called mercenaries. When you are poor and you have no money and you have no other choice to feed your family or whatever you're doing, what would you do? You would do it.
Right. And where'd it go? And Jafai says, D, what day is your birthday? It's the 13th. I looked up, like, it's the 13th? I think it's the 13th.
Yeah, you're the 13th, baby. Yeah.
Yes. And Marnie says, Demetri, did you see that Boyce Watkins with Michi X Too Ghetto? Too Ghetto. I could never watch your show, but I wanted to see what's being spoken about Dr. Watkins and Vicky Dillard that work for them. I have no intel on any of that at all. Y'all know I don't be in the YouTube streets like that. I mind my business. Honestly, I do. So I really don't know. And Mr. Piebrain says, if you're going to smoke weed, you have to grow your own. Yeah. Just don't grow too much. You might get in trouble or get caught, right? Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to grow it at all. And William says, we are 5% of the population, over 40% of the homeless population in California. You are absolutely right. And MoNique says, that's a shame, Donovan, that the Mexicans don't celebrate their own Independence Day. They do celebrate it here. And to be clear, it'd be more of a liquor, but the Black folks bring the party. Love it. And Darius says, I did some more than 20 years. Best decision I've made. I'm a whole lot happier. Stop hating on themselves by turning into racist garbage and BS. And MoNique, I'm gonna skip a couple of your comments just so I can get to the bottom. Y'all ain't gonna beat me today, but I will read some of them toward the end. And let's see here. Pioneer says, Queen, since you came on 30 minutes later than usual, will you stay 30 minutes later than usual? I'm giving y'all 2 hours. It's almost 2 hours right now. So I ain't shortchange you. And Jafai says those funds are also taxed. And Yahweh, how you doing? He says, shalom, sis. Back at you. And Gilvetta says, good evening, Demetra and Kate and Donovan. Yeah, I saw you on earlier, but you must have stepped out. And the Pioneer says, I say those Sentinelese people are some of the smartest Black folks on the planet. They know exactly who they are, what they believe, and who their enemies are. Keep them away. Right. That's what we should have, that mentality as well. Right. The Pioneer says, a lot of people wonder why white folks leave the Sentinelese alone instead of just wiping them out. They probably just respect the Sentinelese people for being who they are, and they're more susceptible to a lot of things, which is why they say leave them alone. Don't be taking yourself over there trying to convert them, because you might give them something and kill all of them. Right?
Yeah. Actually, Demetra covered a story a few years ago about that reporter that went over there and got the business.
Got speared up. And they saw a photo of them dragging his lifeless body across the beach. And the Coast Guards was like, I know y'all don't want us to. We can't do there. Ain't nothing we can do about it. He should have went over there, because he went over there like, oh, Jesus is going to protect me. It's my calling to go over there and try to convert them. And they said, hold my spear, because I don't know if they drink beer. So anyway, and let's see here. Dwayne says, absolutely, Demetra. They don't play. They speared the Bible he tried to give them. Yeah, they said they speared him in his Bible. So that's what they say, right? And Jeremy says they can crash the stock market and 401ks at any time. Ask those people who work for Enron. Man, that story right there says there were no options offered to the Asians, and now the Ukrainians. Yeah, and Enron is a perfect example. A couple people actually ended up taking themselves off the planet because they lost millions of dollars in retirement. And they're like, I can't retire now. So good example. And let's see here. Jeremy says, we need to stop negotiating ourselves out of winning. Yep. And Jafia says, CARICOM is a group of Caribbean countries that I am not sure what they stand for. Got it. Never even heard of it. Pioneer says, I definitely support the right of workers to unionize because the federal government allows these corporations and private businesses to get away with so much. I agree. I think they should. Especially if they're not acting right, the union should take over. So I'm with you.
But again, you got lawmakers, you got corporate Democrats, and you got corporate Republicans. They make the laws. So how do you fight that? We got to stop. We got to get these corporate Democrats and these people out of office. That's the only way you're going to do it.
Yep. Pioneer says some of these jobs in my city want to force people to work 6 days a week. I thought anything over 40 hours a week was illegal. I mean, they have to pay you for it, obviously, right? And DJ Cool Chris, how you doing? It says CARICOM ensures for Caribbean community. We tried in the early 80s and 90s to have one official Caribbean currency, but it was seen as a threat to U.S. even when they're dead. A small island called Grenada. Got it. Okay, I'm learning something.
That's when Reagan went in there and said, I'm going to get a war somewhere.
Right. Yeah, I've never heard of CARICOM, but I guess I will start hearing about it now. And MoNique said the Pioneer, because you're talking to Pioneer. Easy said, Donovan, what's up with Tesla? They have more discrimination lawsuits. Elon and his true South African apartheid colors coming out.
Yeah, because what it is they don't want to give money to the Black technicians that work there. So a lot of these lawsuits has to do with discrimination in pay. They're not being paid like their counterparts. I heard in one lawsuit there, the janitor made more than the assembly line worker.
Oh. Facts Not Feeling says CARICOM, Coalition of Caribbean Countries, how you want to say it. Okay, so got it. We are getting an education today. You guys, before we get out of here, we have a Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. If you guys would donate to the channel. We would love you, and dance at your wedding one day if you get married. Every little bit helps that you donate to the channel, as we do have some costs here. So I would love and appreciate you. And for those of you guys who are members, we thank you so much for your contribution. And for those of you guys who contribute all the time, we love you too. And those of you guys who want to and don't have it, we love you as well. So anyway, let's see here. MoNique, he says, don't seem like you do much partying. And Demetri, Donovan, why not? Life is short. Let's enjoy life. And thank God for letting us breathe, that we can get our life right in our souls. I mean, I hang out. Donovan was at a party yesterday. I mean, I don't hang out. I have a good time. I just don't like drinking and getting drunk and doing drugs. Not that that's what partying is. Somebody invites me to a party, and I get invited a lot. If I can, I go. But a lot of times when I get invites, I just happen to be doing something else, like out of the state. So anyway, but yeah. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Say peace. And that guy from Texas, I just found out about a political party called the Democrat Republicans. Interesting.
Well, let me tell you this. All that is, have you heard of a moderate Republican? Have you heard of a moderate Democrat?
Yeah.
That's what a Democratic Republican is.
Yeah. William says, we are back to the reason the so-called democracy was formed in the first place. Taxation without representation, especially for Black people. Where are our Black lawyers? You know where they at. And Frank, so you talked to that guy from Texas and give
we have Black lawyers. You got Clarence Thomas. You're about to get this Black chick on the Supreme Court. And what are they going to do for us? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Gilberto says, I was Demetri. So you're saying you were on earlier. It says, I'm caring for a granny in ICU and mother was sick also. Okay, well, don't work too hard. And thank you for coming back on. We're about to get out of here, though. And Yahawada, how you doing? It says, do you believe in Israelites are God's chosen people? And do you believe salvation are only for Israelites? I mean, I am familiar with, Israelites or Black people believing that we are Israelites, as it does, I guess it's kind of spoken about in the Bible. I believe that we as Black people, if we call ourselves Israelites, are God's chosen people. And you also say, do you believe in salvation are the only for Israelites? I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. I personally do not practice religion because I feel like it is divisive. It's hard for me to see Black people, especially Black people in America, going anywhere other than heaven. I don't believe that we're going to hell specifically because we are experiencing a hell every day here on earth. Now, is it only for Israelites? And I'm assuming you're meaning Black people. I don't know. I can't say because I really haven't talked to anybody who's been to salvation, if we're equating that to heaven. I haven't talked to anybody who's been to heaven. And why would they come back, right, if it's so great? And so I just tend to believe that we should be striving for salvation here, right, to being righteous and good here, even though in the Bible it says our righteousness is like filthy rags. And so I just kind of feel like sometimes there's a lot of contradiction in the Bible, but salvation, it's salvation to me. It just depends on which ideology, or I'm not trying to be disrespectful, dogma you subscribe to. So I hope that helps. I know that's probably confusing. Anyway, William says, let's start filing lawsuits and have some get right for these people, including Black agents of white supremacy. Yeah. Well, they'll get left behind and then they'll see us progressing and then they'll say, hey, here we are, right? And Gilberto says, I am in support of unions. Same here. I believe that these big giant corporations, these machines, I think they need to be regulated. Also, Pioneer says, I agree. A democracy isn't a good thing. Minister Farrakhan said that a democracy isn't the rule of the people, but the rule of the devil. Yes, indeed. And Kugler says, Blacks should consider seeking a special tax code classification like the Native Americans, a set of tax exemptions specifically targeted to create wealth for descendants of the diaspora as reparations. So that I do agree with. And Frank says, I bet the janitor was Mexican. Laugh out loud. You crazy. And Pioneer says, I'm going to keep it real. Afro-Americans make too many excuses for not doing things we have the power to do ourselves. We can actually give ourselves reparation. That is very true. We give 97% of our $1.3 trillion away every year. So we can actually give ourselves reparations. They said if we put back at least 10% of the money we spend with everybody else, we can create a whole lot of Black businesses that hire ourselves, right? And Jafar says, have a fantastic week, everybody. Yes, indeed. And MoNique says, so he says, your handsome brother, Demetri, some financial questions on investing, whether whether condos are good buy or not, but please let me know when the other days you'll be on. So yeah, y'all can ask him all those questions on Wednesday. Brother Walter will be in the house for Wealth Wednesdays, and trust me, y'all do not want to miss it. Tell a friend. Anyway, yes, easy. It says peace, everyone. Yes, indeed. The Pioneer says there are so many Black people in Congress, Black lawyers, mayors, etc., that we literally have to push to power to push, and with the effort, even pass a reparations bill. Yes, indeed. And Mr. Pyburn says my mother lost 40% of her retirement because of WorldCom. Yep. Also, these Black folks saying we don't need cash reparations make me sick. I'm right with you. And the Pioneer says, well, I'm not religious. However, I study religion, the Bible, and even the Bible in its original Hebrew. What if I told you that the Israelites were really white folks? Oh, now you throwing rocks in the comment section, brother. And Brother Jonah says, salvation is for all those who are righteous now on this earth while we live as the scriptures teach via the Lord's Prayer. Absolutely. So that's what I said. I mean, I tend to believe that it's here on earth, right? It's not like we're going to go somewhere and get it. I know what you meant, brother. And Cooler says, term limits. There's no reason a bunch of 70-year-olds should be our only choice for president. I totally agree. Saw Biden speaking the other day. I'm like, come on with it. What are you trying to say? And Jafar says, we can experience heaven on earth too. I believe that our reality is heaven and hell. And Pioneer says, when you read about the Israelites roaming around the Middle East, attacking already established cities, killing the women and children, and enslaving people, who does that sound like to you? Frank says it's hard because CDC, all 60 plus, us still is still in office. Yes, indeed. And Jafar says, I still believe that foundational Black imposters are worse for us than the white man. Got you. Jonelle says, may we put all right over our left and make our word bond. I mean, all praises due to Allah. Yes, indeed. Pioneer says, let's look at the word Israel. If you break it down, Jacob got the name after allegedly wrestling with an angel. Yes, indeed. He wanted his blessings. It says it means he who fights with God. Does that sound like an honorable name? Very good point. Yes, and that's Jacob was wrestling the angel, saying that you are going to bless me, right? I want my blessing. And where did it go? And Frank says, I think we need land and money. We need that too. And Javai says, why should we have to give ourselves reparations when we are going to hold the devil accountable like we hold ourselves? No, we need that, and we need to start giving ourselves reparations as well. Because when we start giving ourselves reparations by not spending all of our money with everybody else, then we'll have power. Power equals money, right? Or money equals power. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Pioneer says, why would you want to be associated with a man who was named he who fights with God? Why would you want to be a child or one of the children of Israel? I'm going to let y'all talk about that. Thunder says, when they give us reparations, the first thing that we need to do is get life insurance immediately. You better believe it. If you don't have it, you get it anyway. That's going to be a conversation for Walter on Wealth Wednesdays. Also, MoNique says, I wouldn't dare help the Ukraine. I noticed that when Africa was going through problems, they never raised millions of dollars to help them ever. Why? But why? Yep, and they're still going through problems. Somalia, to name a few. Yahawada, he says, John 4:12, King James Version 22. Ye worship, ye know not what we know. What we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Okay. Get better says, I will definitely be listening to the replay tomorrow. Wishing everyone a productive and blessed week. Black first always and forever. It says hashtag or number 467 Foundation of Black American hashtag independent voter. Woo! Yes, indeed. And Brother Don says, Demetria, where is my wrench so I can chop that D White? Oh God. Israel comment. Well, it wasn't too bad, but I'm gonna try to do that as soon as we get off here. Give you your wrench, brother. And that guy from Texas says, what do you think of the young guy that's trying to replace Clarence Thomas? I haven't heard anything about it. I am out of the loop.
No, he means Jim Clyburn. He means Jim Clyburn.
I mean, if he's about the business, Jim Clyburn needs to go. He has been very bad for Black people, including handing us that of Joe Biden. Okay, South Carolina. Thank you very much. Jonelle says, I vote Walter live. Peace. Yes, he will be on here live on Wednesday, giving y'all the game. Don't miss it. Pioneer says, well, if Jacob Yakub was fighting with an angel of God, then what force was on his side? If you're fighting a representative of God, then what do you represent? You sure you want to be an Israelite? I'm gonna let you throw those rocks, brother. And Mr. Al Jackson, how you doing? He said these comments have nothing to do with MoNique and then Lee Daniels. Well, you came on at the end where we about to get out of here. Facts Not Feelings says peace and love found. Yes, indeed. The Pioneer says, I see you trying to work your way down, Queen. Thank you both. Great shows as usual. And guess what? I got to the end of the comment section. Ha. Thunder says, hold the vote and cut the check. Yes, indeed. So anyway, we're about to get out of here. I thank and love y'all all very much for being here. As y'all can hear, my voice is like, ah. So, you know, it is what it is. I love what I do. Donovan, he loves what he does as well. So Donovan and I are going to do a podcast on Tuesday. I don't know what we'll talk about that day, but we will do it again. Well, Wednesdays with Walter. That's going to be up and coming, so we can learn a lot about money. And Donovan, what say you before we get out of here?
I just want to say, once again, please like, share, subscribe, and become a member. And I want to thank you guys that have been supporting me in my fight against what's that? No, ma'am. Women against masculine domination, or whatever, man domination. And I'll keep you guys posted on how the court date goes and everything like that.
Absolutely. So we are out of here. We love and appreciate you guys. Again, we have a Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal if you want to donate, become a member, and all that. And please, at the very least, hit the like button. Thank you so much. We will see you guys live Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday with Walter, and then again on Sunday, Donovan and I, and then, of course, our podcast throughout the week. Peace. We enjoyed y'all as well.